Okay, now we're live on YouTube. So I'm just going to get this across to others so you can join us here. Um, just give me a couple minutes, sorry.
No problem. Take your time.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to How to Monetize Your Voice, the power of public speaking. If you're hearing my voice right now, it means that you are with us on this session. And what that simply means is that you're here to learn how to monetize your voice through the power of public speaking. If you're also hearing my voice and you're not live on this session, it just means that we're live on YouTube because I'm having streaming on various channels at this moment, but YouTube is our main channel where we'll be speaking from. Live on the call here with me, we have Moyo Soriolua, MJ. But I'll just briefly introduce myself before we go into the business of the day. If you're just meeting me for the first time, my name is Bernard Moneme. I'm the founder of La Grande Galaxy, and I'm also a data analyst. And just in case you're wondering, what exactly does La Grande Galaxy have to do with this? What are we talking about here? La Grande Galaxy is an edtech that focuses on um, public speaking as well, which is one aspect that we focus on. We focus on four major areas: tech, marketing, writing, and public speaking. So public speaking is one aspect, and that's the reason why we're here today. And we'll be going straight into the exact reason why you should have this powerful voice that can help you become exactly what you want to do. Now, MJ, straight to you. Before I let you introduce yourself, MJ is a PhD candidate, a project manager, and also a public speaker herself. But before I water down exactly what she does and what she's into, I'll just give her the floor while I ask her a question. She would also get to introduce herself and tell us exactly what she does. So, MJ, the first question I would like to ask you is this. So, maybe some people here are wondering how to get into public speaking, how do they start? I want you to tell us exactly the moment that you became a public speaker, how you got into public speaking, what inspired you to do this, and how it has changed or benefited you in any way. So this is your floor to just tell us who you are and exactly how you got into public speaking. I'm sure others will be inspired by this story as well. The floor is yours, MJ.
Thank you so much, Bernard. Thank you for having me. I'm going to start by reiterating my name again. My name is MJ. It's very long, Moyo Oluwa Agbojo, but my friends call me MJ, like Michael Jackson. I'm the brainchild behind MJ's Guide to Student Success. It's a community where I bring students together and we share tips, knowledge, just helping one another grow academically. And I'm also a student. I'm a PhD candidate working currently in the field of gender and migration here in Germany. And I have a 9 to 5 where I work as a project manager in MIL. What does MIL mean? It's a simply monitoring and evaluation, accountability, and learning. So we evaluate projects in the humanitarian sector. How did I get into public speaking? That's a very, very good question. Growing up, I would say I was a very shy. Not so much, but I was kind of introverted. I don't know, maybe my circumstances shaped me. But then I had friends who were very outgoing. I had a sibling actually who used to beat me growing up, so it kind of actually contributed to it. And one day, actually, my mom there was a day I went to complain to my mom that my younger sister, I'm 2 years older than she is, and she would beat me, and I would cry to my mom. And my mom just got angry one day, and she was like, "Please, why are you coming to me to tell me this?" You're the older one, so she locked us in the room and told me that we shouldn't come out until I show her that I'm the older eldest. So that day, I really gave her the beating of her life, you know. And I think that
That's nice.
moment helped me regain my self confidence in a way, but it still didn't get me to the point of public speaking. I became a better version of myself, but I still had this, something holding me back, this fear of what would people say. So when I got into high school, I met with different people. I met smart people. Let me just say that friends who forced me to level up. I wanted to. They inspired me, so I started learning about how to become better, how to speak better. To be like them. So I I read. I also tried to copy what they did. But along the line, I got into the university. I got better at speaking. I became like a spokesperson basically for my friends. If we had anything to do, but it still wasn't like on a large scale. I couldn't speak to the public. Then I got into a relationship with someone who is very smart, and he also contributed to helping me grow. I had to work on my age factor as a Yoruba girl. I had this age factor I had to work on because it was really terrible, I'm not gonna lie. And every time I was speaking, he would always point it out to me, and it was very annoying at some point, like, why, what is wrong? If I want to say um or just the age factor was very prominent, so I had to be intentional about it. I had to really consciously work towards it. Was a see I'm just trying to summarize this, but it was not
You don't
something
actually
that
have to summarize it. You can go into details to just tell us
okay.
everything, because I'm pretty sure that there are some people that have these problems that you may be talking about now, having these accent problems, and then it makes them either shy and then thinking about, can I speak in public? Would it criticize me or things like that? How you able to overcome all of that? And then maybe, you know, because we want to hear now, okay, how did you overcome? Because you just mentioned now the accent, which a lot of people have. I'm sure you being Yoruba,
Yeah,
the H, some people might be Igbo having other factors and the rest. So how you able to build your confidence beyond that and just still being able to carry on. So that's exactly what we'd like to hear more about. You can continue your story anyway. Sorry for cutting you short.
no problem, no problem. I'll take my time with it. It's totally fine. We all are from different backgrounds. We don't have, we have some things that are like we cannot help it, is where we are born. But the thing is, we can always get better by effort. We can always improve. One thing about me is I'm never too shy to learn. I always want to get better. So someone is commenting that your voice is very low, Bernard. So maybe you can check your microphone and try to speak again.
Okay. I don't just to confirm, can you hear me? Or is it still low? Is it still low?
Yeah, better now. It's better now.
Okay. I just had
Yeah.
to adjust the volume. I didn't want it to be too loud and I made it too low. All right, no problem.
I
Continue.
think the sound output is also kind of, there's like a vibration that I keep hearing from you. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's
It's still
the mic shaking or something like that. There's a sound when you speak.
there's still a sound when I speak.
Yeah, it's like it's doubles back. I don't double back. I don't know. Try to check it.
Is that still happening?
A little bit, but it's better than before.
All right, maybe just go ahead. I'll try to fix that so I wouldn't be wasting your time with
No
settings. All right.
problem. So, like I was saying, I learning, my love for learning is one of the reasons I was able to get better at public speaking, because when I learn new things, I'm not too shy to learn. I can learn from someone younger than I am, someone older than I am. The thing is, I love learning. So whenever my boyfriend back then, who is now my husband, brought maybe something new, or just a new knowledge or something, I'm really and eager to learn it. So I took my time to practice, and I would stand in front of the mirror to try to say, uh, is it him? Him? Those kind of edge. If I want to say maybe heaven, I say, uh, I don't know. I don't remember how to do this, so that I don't go back to the edge factor part. Those I had to be intentional about, you know, improving. I'm still a work in progress. Now I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am still learning. But the thing is, I got better with time. Even public speaking for me, it got to another stage that yes, I could speak to people, but it became an issue for me that I wasn't confident when my husband was in the crowd, because the fear of, oh, I don't want to disappoint him, or I don't know if he's gonna notice any age factor. Then it made me self-aware. And during my masters, we had a course on public speaking, and I remember my Professor Jill Blau, she asked us, "What is your biggest fear of public speaking or presentation?" And I remember saying it. I can speak in public, but I am afraid of speaking in the public whenever my husband is part of the audience. And a lot of people started sharing their fears, but for me, that was mine. And I was so relieved that I was able to share that. At first, I didn't want to share it, but it kind of, sharing that, she gave me feedback, she helped me improve myself, and she encouraged me, and that also helped me to move from that fear of being afraid of speaking. Eventually, on my graduation day, when I got the DAD award, my husband was he was in the audience, and I had to give a speech where there were like over 500 people, and I was able to do that successfully. But if I didn't voice out my imperfection, or the fact that this was the fear, there was no way I was going to get better at it.
Okay,
So far,
so just to take it back a little bit, just to confirm that you can also hear me as well, and it's not going back and forth. You can hear me, right?
yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you were telling your story, which is a very interesting story, and you're still going to go back a little to it. But I also want to know if, from your own perspective, if you feel that from your story and what you're saying, do you think public speaking is something that some people are maybe born with, and then you can just learn, or some people just learn it over time, or is it something that you're born with, or how does it work? Do you think maybe it was always in you, or something that any other person can always learn along the line and become better at? Maybe just align it with what you're saying about your story, because you also talked about how your um guide, I think your supervisor you mentioned, had to give you more access or give you that courage to help you become better. So maybe just break down on that point. And sorry, before I'll pause you there a little bit, we also have Izu is going to be joining us shortly. So I'm going to just put him on the screen. As soon as I turn this on, it's going to be on the screen. For those who are just joining us,
Yeah, my friend. How are you?
we have Joshua is going to join us as well, and Dr. Vivian. For now, we just have MJ and Izuchukwu Ukandu. He had to, I don't know, do a lot of other businesses that he had to handle before joining us on the session. So
No worries.
while he's here right now, and before we get back to MJ's story, so Izu, maybe can you just say hi to the people, and then I will
Yeah,
come back to
very,
you
very good
shortly.
to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear you
welcome.
clearly.
All right. I'm very happy to be here. And first of all, I'd like to apologize for coming in late. It feels really a great honor to be here. And I just want to say thanks, Mr. Bernard. And I see you, Moyo, and every single person who is on the call. I'm super duper glad to be here. And I look forward to the best of the session today. Izuchukwu Ukandu here. Over to you, my friend, Mr. Bernard.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, Izu. So, MJ, maybe just give us your own view on that. And I would also like to hear from Izu, his own view on that same question. He probably didn't hear the question, but if he did, I'll still reiterate. So, maybe just give us your own view on that, MJ.
Okay, thank you. I must say that I'm really glad that Izu is here, so I don't have to be the only one on the seat. Okay, so is everyone a born speaker? I would say no. Not everyone is born to, do public speaking, but I am of the view that we can all learn. As long as you're willing to learn, you have the willingness to learn, then it is possible to be better at public speaking. What happens most of the time is we want to be perfect. We want to, we want perfection. But the thing is,
Yeah.
we don't have to be perfect to do, to start speaking. We just need to, take small steps and it will get better with time.
All right, so that's very good. It's good to hear your own perspective on this, and I will just use this as a form of introduction for Izu, as he's here to just bring his own view into this question that we're asking. So, for those of you who don't know Izu, I wouldn't want to water down all his achievements, so I'll just make it brief while he's going to talk about the rest while he's answering the question. First of all, Izuchukwu is a media consultant and also a well-known public speaker who has done a lot with TEDx and more. So Izuchukwu, I don't know if you heard the question initially, but the question is about your own perspective on if you think, do you think public speaking is a talent or something that people can learn over time? And then while you're answering that, can you still also break down how you were able to find out that you are a public speaker? How were you able to find out that, okay, this is a skill that I have and it's something that I can use to make a way for myself? So that's my question to you.
All right, thank you so much, my friend, and very intelligent response from you, Moyo.
Yeah.
So I would say that public speaking has nothing to do with talent. Public speaking has nothing to do with I was born with this, I wasn't born with that. No, public speaking is a tool. Is a tool. And understanding the concept of it being a tool would help you to be able to operate, use it, and effectively make do with it for what it has been created for, or what it is for. So, personally, I would say again, in addition to that, that there are so many people, in fact, there is nobody under the face of the earth who would say that they were born with the skill of public speaking as a tool. Nobody. Every single person you hear today who sounds solid, intelligent, interesting, they all modified that tool. Because when you do not know the value of what you have, you will definitely abuse it. So understanding the value of public speaking in today's society calls for modification on individualistic basis. Now, what does all of this mean? Coming down to me, I realized that I was always interested in telling people the truth. I always wanted to be heard. And not just because of my voice, but because I had something very important to say to people. And rather than calling myself a public speaker, I went inwards to look out for what exactly do I need in order to become more expressive. So what I needed to be more expressive of my stories, of my experiences, is what is called public speaking. Yes, I look like I have the confidence. I look like I could speak. Yes, I look like I could be heard, but on a very natural basis, in order not to deceive or beat about the bush or sound like a broken record. Public speaking has nothing to do with talent. Public speaking is a tool. And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't want to start telling all those stories of I was in my mother's womb and a pastor said I'm a public speaker and all of those things. No, forget about those things, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why we have a lot of persons who truly have something to say, but they don't know how to go about saying what they have to say. This is why we have a lot of professionals who have a lot of value to offer in the boardroom, but when you call them to speak, they want to speak like Izu, they want to speak like Nelson Mandela, they want to speak like Barack Obama. But then that is not public speaking. Wanting to speak like Barack Obama is not public speaking. Wanting to sound like Oprah Winfrey is not public speaking. Public speaking is simply a tool that you need in order to pass your information across to people. And if you want to use that tool very well, you need to learn how to use that tool. If you go to the gym for one good year, your biceps would get large. If you don't get to the gym for 1 whole year, it doesn't matter who you are, your biceps will be very tiny. So the same thing is applicable to public speaking. If you want to become very solid in being able to express yourself, you need to fundamentally see it for being a tool. Let it be defined as a tool. See it as a tool. And then you now ask yourself, how do I master how to use this tool? The final thing I'm going to say is this, which is a point of reference to what I'm saying. You can't just start driving a car. You need to learn how to drive a car. And you need a car to move from one point to another point. And if you do not learn how to drive the car, you will abuse that car. It doesn't matter who is in that car. You have to learn how to drive it. So the same is applicable again to public speaking. You need to become very intentional about developing yourself towards mastering how to use that tool called public speaking. Thank you so much, my friend.
Yes, you really broke down every single point, and I believe anybody who is listening to your voice now is already motivated. For those people who may not be aware of this, the first time I actually met Izu, he's some form of motivator. I wouldn't want to use that word maybe in a condescending way, but he would make you understand exactly how to become what you are. Because we had an encounter, I think, in Dr. Vivian's session, and he spoke about how, okay, you in person, you have a powerful voice. He probably doesn't remember I was the person he was talking to, or maybe he does. But anyway, it was some form of encouragement to me to tell me that, okay, you don't actually sound terrible. You can actually speak to people. And over time, I've held and I've been a part of so many master classes, webinars, used my voice to teach, to train, to even speak on stages. A lot of times, I've run away from it, public speaking, generally. Which then brings me now to your own question again, Mr. Izu. Can you remember the first time you were ever on stage, or maybe the first time you ever had a public speaking event? How that happened? What invited you to that room? How you were able to gain access to being able to speak? What brought you to that room? Your first maybe public speaking experience, how it went, and how you were able to find out, okay, I am a public speaker, I can do this, and I'll have to continue with it. So that's basically my question to you now.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I see a lot of persons in the comment box. Please, before I proceed, I'd like to just ask, please, can someone type and say to Mr. Bernard, well done for putting this together. It's not easy to put an event together, please. Can I see at least one person say that? If nobody's saying that, maybe Moyo, you say that to me back. Say, well done, Mr. Bernard, for putting this event together.
Well done, Mr. Bernard, for putting this event together.
Very important we say this because empathy above every other thing in the world. Now, to answer your question, the first day or first time I ever expressed myself was on the stage at the University of Calabar many pretty years ago. That was during the time that they first of all initiated what was called British Parliamentary System of Debate. So I was one of the students that represented my school at the time. That was when it was first brought to Nigeria. So as a 100 level or 200 level student, I got on the stage, very enthusiastic, very confident. But on getting there, I forgot every single thing I had planned to say to the audience. It was one of my most embarrassing moments as a speaker. I mean, I literally forgot everything I had planned to say. I was left blank on the stage. But you know what happened? I did very well in that tournament, although I never won any of the awards, but I did very well. Fast forward to my final days in the university, I was one of the people that were selected to participate in what we call Pan-African Debating Championship. And that was held in Ghana. This time around, I went there with fire. Now, on getting there, I was amongst the 10 finalists in the public speaking category. Now, this happened in Ghana many years ago amongst university students from across Africa. Now, Mr. Bernard, when it was time for me to participate in the final round of that tournament, I was among the 10 finalists. I got there. Mr. Bernard, everything I had planned to say disappeared again. This time around, they only gave me a certification for getting to the finalists. And that was the day that every single thing about my speaking career changed.
Wow.
That was the day that I sat down on the bed and I told myself that I will be someone that will help many people to find their voice. You know what happened? What happened was very simple. The first experience, when I got there, I thought I could do it. But just thinking that you can do it is not enough. You need to get down to work. You need to break down the principles and apply those principles one step at a time. Now, the second time that I got to Pan-African's debating tournament, what happened was that I was overwhelmed. And I say this to people all the time, that stage fright is a natural phenomenon. It doesn't matter who is consigned. As I'm speaking to you right now, I'm experiencing fright, to be very honest. So what makes you a world-class speaker is in your ability to be able to manage the fright, manage how you express yourself in the process of feeling the way you feel. Now, after that second experience, Mr. Bernard, I went on different trainings, went on different research. That was how I discovered about Les Brown's Speaking Academy. That was how I discovered about Del Carnegie and so many other training platforms. I got books, and then I started doing those practices as a person. So those were the experiences that got me to where I am today. And where am I today? I have done a lot of trainings for people, banks, individuals, institutions, and all of those things. But the most beautiful day that I would not forget happens to be the day I spoke to university students on drug abuse. And my mom was on the stage when I was speaking to that audience. That day was a very beautiful day for me because it was the day I told the story about a friend of mine who lost her life as a result of drug abuse. And that very day, I practiced every single thing that I have mastered in public speaking. At some point, I started dancing on the stage. At some point, I started singing on the stage. It was a very interesting presentation. Now, the very reason I'm telling this story is very simple. I would like you all to track how I started, where I'm coming from. If you are trying to get to the point where you want to be heard, where you can express yourself effectively and intelligently, do not be afraid to make mistakes when you show up. I was never afraid and ashamed of those mistakes. They are part of my story, and I embrace those stories because they motivate and inspire me for every step I take as a speaker, where I am today and where I am headed for. By June 14th, we will be hosting the TEDx talk in Africa, and we're having many Westerners coming into Nigeria to deliver their TED Talks, and all of them are my students. So I started from the University of Calabar, forgetting my lines, but I never stopped there. I got myself motivated, trained myself. Let me remove the word motivation. I trained myself. I read books, I practiced. I did some rehearsals. So if you want to learn all of those things, you can go to Bernard. He might possibly teach you how to be able to practice those principles one after the other. But that is my story. One step at a time can get you to the mountaintop. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard.
Honestly, I'm taking notes on this. Maybe you don't have my pen here because I'm taking notes on certain things, and it's quite interesting how this is happening. Many people would not be aware of this. But before I go into the points I want to draw into what you've just said, this session is available to a lot of people to watch later. And if you're here with us, the only way you can actually show support for free, this is a free session, is by sharing this link to somebody else to join, because there'll be a lot to gain. And as well, you can always rewatch this session later for the parts that you've missed, and we'll be talking more and more later. Now, to talk about something you just mentioned now, I've hosted different webinars, I've hosted masterclasses, and you mentioned something about being nervous or some form of not 100% being able to just speak despite doing it consistently. So that is not something that anybody should let hold them back. And something in form of embarrassment as well. You also mentioned how you were embarrassed at least twice in your coming up stage. So this is something I'm sure maybe somebody has encountered and is wondering that, okay, am I shy of being embarrassed? Am I shy of talking about this? I just want you to take note of this, that despite everything that has happened in Mr. Izu's life when he was coming up, and the bigger things he's now going to accomplish, TEDx, bringing TEDx to Africa, hosting the TEDx in Africa rather, So you see, it's not really easy. It's something that we should always um embrace embarrassment, embrace training, embrace motivation, the way he said it, even if he refused to use that word. So I would just like to ask again now. Um, Now this question now, anyway, both parties are going to share their points on this. If you're to advise, I would like to start from MJ. If you're to advise maybe your younger person, younger self, let's say how old you are now. I'm sure there are younger people that will later on watch this. If you're to give your younger self an advice on public speaking, how to get into public speaking, how can I use it to make myself better, and maybe monetize it, make money from it, or whatever in any way. If you're to advise your younger self, maybe to start earlier or something of that nature, give your younger self an advice on something that will make them better, a better public speaker. I'd like to hear from you, MJ, first before we go to Mr. Izu.
Okay. I would tell my younger self not to, not to focus on perfection. Just like Izu said, mistake is part of it. Do it afraid, even with the fright. Do it anyways, because so many opportunities that I have lost because I was afraid. But now I've realized that it wasn't about being perfect. I should have embraced the discomfort. I should have done it anyways, and I would have learned from it. It would have helped my growth. So now I would also tell my younger self to take that training, or learn from expert people who have gone before you. Now we have webinars. I mean, I would have told my younger self, attend these webinars, learn from those who've gone before you. And that's what I'm just going to tell people who are here today. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. It is a good investment. It is never a bad investment. So that is it for me.
Okay, so three major points. Do it afraid. Don't be scared of anything. Just be ready to get embarrassed. It's going to happen along the way, either way. Take
Yeah.
the training, and then there are just certain things that you just have to learn from people, because there's free knowledge everywhere. If you want to get free knowledge, get it. If you feel you need some form of mentorship to access it, trust me, there are a lot of people that you can get it from. Mr. Izu is one of them. You can get it from him. If you want to meet us at La Grande Galaxy as well, but that's not what we're here to talk about anyway. It's something. Take the training, do it, and invest in yourself. There's a saying that investing in yourself, investing in knowledge is the best thing you can do to yourself. Investment is knowledge is the best thing you can do for yourself or with your money. So I'd like to hear from you as well, Mr. Izu. Advise your younger self. How would you monetize public speaking? How would you become a better public speaker, or just have that edge over others? Because now you have the experience and you've lived um, a lot. You've lived most part of your life already, most part of that journey rather.
Yes, so I'm going to say four things. The first thing I would say is, please, I would want everyone who would listen to this and possibly listening to this to reach out to Mr. Bernard, his platform, and ensure that you take up a program for yourselves. Right now, I'm taking up different programs on different areas in the media. You are as good as how much you're willing to invest in yourself. And Mr. Bernard's platform is one that I would recommend any day, any time, because I love what he's doing and I believe in his values and his principles as well. The second thing I'm going to say is, I would like to say that I completely agree with all the values that MJ shared. You see, those values are very timely values. Listen to those values, act on those values if you truly want to experience a level of transformation on your journey as a speaker. The third thing I'm going to say is very simple here. My advice to my younger self is to listen to 5 world-class speakers. And after listening to those 5 world-class speakers, I should take down notes on what I love about those speakers and what I don't love about those speakers. Listen to 5 world-class speakers, take notes, write down about 10 things I love about those world-class speakers, different topics that they must have addressed, and then I take down 10 things I do not like about those world-class speakers, their presentations. Doing this would help my younger self to be able to master the mastery of public speaking and expressiveness. The final thing that I am going to say to myself is to embrace my identity as a person. You see, the reason we have many people and my younger self who possibly do not even know how powerful it can be or he is the loss of identity. A lot of persons knew me for Izu Samuel. Well, Izu Samuel is not my name. My name is Izuchukwu Ukandu. Distance begins from knowing your name, because you can't say you're a powerful speaker when you don't even know your name and you don't answer your name. So embrace your identity, love yourself. How can somebody come on Premier League and the person is answering Rice? And my own name is Izuchukwu. I can't answer Izuchukwu. And you say you want to develop your speaking skills. It will not work. Somebody will answer beans, stone, online. And me, Izuchukwu, I will not answer my own. So embrace your identity, love yourself, cherish yourself. If you look very closely, I have, there is a way my tooth appears, and it happens to be the accident I had many years ago. For some reason, when I was coming up, it affected my representation. It affected a lot about me. And I've done 1 or 2 surgeries and all of that. But then, you know what I realized? That for every moment I detach myself from that reality, I express myself even more and love myself more here. So what I'm saying is very simple. Forget about your insecurities, my younger self, and embrace the capacity that rests within yourself. This is the only point you can get to, that you are able to address people, speak to people, and express yourself intelligently and coherently. I would always like to say this. 1 step at a time would always get you to the mountaintop. But the moment you miss 1 step, you go back to the base. But the moment you practice consistently, taking 1 step at a time, respecting the values, upholding the values, I'm very sure that you get to the level that you will be so proud of yourself, and many other persons will be so proud of you. But many thanks to Mr. Bernard for asking that question, and thanks so much.
Okay, that was actually a wonderful breakdown, and he also brought me. Anyway, I don't like to talk about things that people don't talk about themselves, because in the first
All
instance,
right.
I always knew your name as Izu Samuel, so I was wondering what really happened, and maybe why did you change it? Maybe you were just trying to put your native name out there or something of that nature. But anyway, it's good you broke it down.
No, my father knocked me in the brain, so, and then I decided to change it.
Well,
So it's
a lot of people use their English name anyway. I think it's still part of your identity, but it's good that your father had to remind you of that. So it's a very critical point. Since he made a very interesting point there, if people can bear their names however it sounds in the international markets, then there's nothing wrong with your name. Just use your name exactly how it appears.
right.
I think that's also a problem that some people are facing on LinkedIn when it comes to restrictions and the rest when it comes to verification. You can verify your account with your passport when it's a wrong name there. So embrace your identity. And he also made a very interesting point. Listen to world-class speakers. There's somebody you want to be like. You cannot pay them at this point in your career to mentor you. So how exactly are you going to become like them? You have to just use that form of indirect mentorship, modeling, as Alex Homozy would say, that you learn from people you want to be like that you cannot afford their services yet, and try to model exactly how they act, exactly what they say or what they do. Write out the things you like, write out what you don't like, and then these are critical points that would help you become a better public speaker. And like you already mentioned, if it's something you want to take a well detailed, organized program course on, you want to know the critical points to say, okay, this is how I should tune my voice, enunciation, how this happens, all of this as a detailed public speaking course. I'm going to just say, put it out there, maybe put Mr. Izu on the hotspot and say that we are going to be having a collaboration with first class speakers, because that is also his his platform for public speaking training. So the Grand Galaxy is going to be together with first class speakers, and we're going to do something where Mr. Izu is going to come around, give you some form of coaching as well. If it's something you feel, okay, I want to become a better public speaker, I want to gain that confidence, I want to have the clarity and every other thing that comes along with the program. But with this session now, you're going to learn exactly how people can monetize their voice, how people can become better. One of the platforms, obviously, we are right on the platform right now, is YouTube. It's somewhere you can use your voice. A lot of people do it. I know that there are different ways to be a public speaker. You don't necessarily, you can also be on stage where you're giving a speech and later on upload that to YouTube and then still monetize your voice. That is some form of monetization. And then also talk about things like X, platforms that pay, and things of that nature. But I would like to hear from you, Mr. Izu Samuel, now. A platform like TEDx, for instance, that you've mentioned, do they pay you to come there? Is it possible that TEDx would pay somebody to be on the platform? So maybe people, when they're improving their skills, they would then go on stage. Do public speakers get paid to come on stage? Is it something that people just pay people to come on stage because they know how to speak well? I don't know. Maybe you can throw more light on how people can make money besides throwing their content out there, coming on stage to speak and make money from it. Is this something that's been done? And how can somebody who wants to make money from public speaking go about it?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say about the TEDx platform is that it's a platform. So the word platform qualifies that project called the TEDx. The TEDx has over 40 million followers on YouTube. So getting on that stage to tell your story on that stage gives you access to a lot of persons across the world. And access can be converted. If you don't know how to convert access, then you don't really know, you don't deserve the access at all. So you have to be able to master how to convert and leverage access, your energy, your time, to be able to make something well out of it. The TEDx platform they don't pay you, but you get on that stage in the interest of your brand, in the interest of being heard, of being seen, and of being received. But then if you want to monetize your voice or you want to be a paid speaker, what I say to people is very simple. People pay for what they need. People don't pay for something because they like you. I like the shape of your head. I like your nose. No. I like your voice. No. They pay you because you have something that can transform their lives and their businesses. And the second thing is, what exactly are you speaking on, and why should people pay you for their time? So to make this to work for you, what you need to do is to build a community of both partners and loyalists. Partners and loyalists. The partners, they are very simple people that would always talk about what you do to different people. You can do business with them. They can invest in your programs. And then loyalists are people that possibly can buy from you, can recommend your projects, and also invest into what you're doing. And the other side of what can pay you as a speaker is to look for links, speaking opportunities online. There are tons of thousands of those links on an annual basis. When you get those links, you submit your documents, you submit your files, and then you can be invited in the comfort of your house. You can be speaking across the world, and you're paid for your time. So, Mr. Bernard, there are many dynamics about getting paid as a speaker. In fact, it's a journey, it's an experience. But most importantly, I would like people listening to me and the people that will listen to me to go and learn how to utilize access, how to manage access, how to manage relationships, how to manage resources, how to convert what they know. So for me, I previously was talking about public speaking. On Clubhouse, I will always talk about public speaking. And nobody was coming to me. Nobody was coming to me to train them. And I really got tired. I did everything, changed the color of my platform, used another picture, did my face like this, did a lot of serious things, but nobody came to me. But the moment I decided to start talking about storytelling and getting on the TEDx stage, I realized that there are so many professionals across the world who wants to get on the TEDx stage. They are very interested. Mr. Bernard, there are over 500 people who are willing to pay any amount to come into Africa, explore Africa, and tell their stories.
Wow.
So the moment I discovered that aspect, Mr. Bernard, I began to talk about that aspect. And most importantly, I built a business around it. It's a different thing to talk about something, to be loved, to be received. It's also a different thing to be able to build a business around it, because it is the business that you build around it that will bring in the resources that you are interested in, which is the money, and make an impact as well. So that would just be my brief talk on converting, making money, and all of that. But if you have specific questions to ask, then you're able to ask. But about the TEDx stage, the TEDx Talk thing, I have different programs for people, professionals that wants to deliver their TED Talks. And that is also the business that I'm talking about. You have to create a business around it. Now, there was something I learned from Dale Carnegie that he did many years ago. When Dale Carnegie was doing his training speaking thing, he decided to target business owners, CEOs, directors. And then he developed a program specific to those directors and CEOs. When I did a research about that program, it took him over 6 months to develop that program and then do what is called target audience. It's not the kind of target audience that people do on LinkedIn, but there is a target audience that happens beyond the walls of the social media. And that is where relationship comes in. So doing that research really helped me a lot. So that was where I learned building a business. And when I say build a business, it means develop a program around the product and the service that you're offering. Develop a solution, and that solution is called a product. And that product can be called a course, it can be called a mentorship program, but it might not be up to $18,000. It's the program shouldn't be up to $20,000.
I'm just getting that reference right now.
$20,000. So you just reduce it, but the product has to be something that addresses the problems of people. And believe me, that alone can make you a lot of money as a speaker. And the final addition to what I can say to help people is this: learn to reach out to people. Learn to go to Mr. Bernard and speak to Mr. Bernard. Don't propose a business. Don't talk about anything selfish. Discuss with Mr. Bernard. Build a relationship with Mr. Bernard. You know what I realized? That on a natural basis, when Mr. Bernard perceives the value that I am made of, Mr. Bernard will invest into my business without me even talking much. When you start telling Mr. Bernard, 20 years ago, I spoke to 30 people. 15 years ago, I even trained Mr. President, that's Donald Trump, on LinkedIn. 10 years ago, I trained Dangote on Facebook. Mr. Bernard will just not take me very serious. So be very big on values and less on promising more than you are able to deliver. My name is Mr. Izuchukwu, and I believe that value counters too much talk. Value is a magnet, and value has the potency and the tendency to attract the right people into your network. Over to you, Mr. Bernard.
I thank you very much for that insight into everything and some pressing questions some people may have had, even myself inclusive. I've never been on a TEDx stage, but I've monetized my voice in various ways, so I had to just ask that for myself and for others who may be interested. Now, before I proceed with my comments, if you're having other questions, pressing questions you want to be addressed, you can drop them in the chat, and I'm going to look at them and probably put them on the screen or just read them out so we address them. But a very critical point that Mr. Izu mentioned is your ability to utilize access. Now, using a platform like LinkedIn, for instance, I was able to utilize my access that I've gotten to people like MJ, people like Izu, to make this show possible. So if you're unable to utilize your access, like you mentioned, you probably don't deserve it. So Access comes in various ways. I was at a show, a conference, Jimmy Padro International, where Cosmas was talking about the value of utilizing access and the currency that it serves, which is also the value that Mr. Izu just spoke about right now. Once they see your value, once your value is perceived, people will definitely come around. Once they see that, okay, this person can deliver on this, deliver on that, even without bringing money to the table. Because a quick story he mentioned was he asked the question. This is Cosmas Maduka, the owner of um, Costaris Motors. He just asked people in this audience that, okay, for instance, now a young guy, random young guy, comes to my car park to say, okay, can you give me that car, please? I need it to go somewhere or something, and I'll pay later. Am I going to give the car to that person? And everybody in the audience shouted no. Then he asked, okay, what if somebody like um, Dangote, for instance, comes to the place and asks me, can I take this car? When I go to my place, my people are going to give you the money back or refund you or something. Would I let that car go? People were thinking about it on the stage, and he mentioned, don't think about it twice, because the answer is obvious. I am going to give it to him. That is what we call the currency of value that you possess as a person, even without having that money right in your pocket at that point. So once people believe and that you can deliver on this value, they give you that access that you need, and also the listening ear. So the listening ear is more important. Money cannot get you everything. If you think that you want to use money to just buy everything, buy access, access gives you connections, give you more access than even money can give you at some point. Now, this brings me to my other question while I'm waiting for questions in the comments. To you now, MG. When you were telling your story, you mentioned a supervisor, if I get that right, if I got that right, who spoke to you about acting like a form of motivation to help you, and also your lover, who also gave you that form of motivation to become a better person. How important do you think that is? That you think, okay, everybody needs this in their life, some form of motivation to help them become better, people around them to kick them up and maybe become better in their public speaking journey. How important do you think this support system or motivation is to people to become exactly who they want to be? I would like to hear your thoughts on that and how it actually impacted you. Do you think it's important to people, and did it actually, was it influential in any way to who you are today?
Very well. Yes, it is. It is very important. But I'm also going to say this: nobody's going to carry you if you don't lift your hands up. Like I mentioned, she asked, what is your biggest fear about public speaking? And then I told her my fear is speaking in the audience when my husband is there, because I'm conscious I don't want to make mistakes. And because I let that out, she was able to mentor me, to help me. She asked me, okay, what is your purpose? What is my why? Why do I want to, speak? Why do I want to my voice to be heard? Then I told her I have, I want to help people. This is my purpose. This is what I want to do. I'm passionate about education, about empowerment. And then she told me, I need to channel, focus on your purpose than being perfect. And remember, is only there to cheer you on, to help you, not to, don't think he's focusing on all your mistakes. So if I didn't mention that, she wouldn't have helped me. So we all need people like that in our lives. But remember, you have to be willing, you have to put in the work, you have to, let them know, oh, you want to learn. You have to let Mr. Izu know that, oh, you want to improve your public speaking skills, then he's gonna help you. You want to come to Black Grada, so you have to tell them, oh, this is what I want to, but nobody's gonna help you if you keep quiet, or if you don't talk.
Okay, so I actually like that point you made, because somebody also still asked now that question in the comment that what do you do when no one around you seems to understand you? And maybe that question is going to be directed to Mr. Izu, while who's also speaking on the point you just made now, because you had somebody who was able to understand you, and you were able to open up to guide you to know exactly what to do, this and that, the problems you were facing. Now, I also want to hear from Mr. Izu's perspective. Did you have somebody like this ever at any point during your public speaking journey? Somebody as maybe a support system somebody you went to, they show you the ropes, and maybe how important was that to you, and how important do you think it is for others to have this in their own public speaking journey?
Yeah, I would say that I never had anybody that's really, would want to. I would say that I'm just trying to be very honest here as much as I've been here. So I didn't have anybody. I was just hungry from within myself. And what really got me into this was the fact that for some reason, I came from an environment that challenged me. I came from a place that I literally was shut down on many occasions. And growing up, I became so willing and very enthusiastic about, being heard, being seen, and most importantly, wanting to be a person of value. So that drive was always pushing me forward beyond all my limitations. And also going on YouTube to listen to some speakers, listen to some speakers, trainers, really inspired me a lot. Um, I wouldn't say that I ever wanted to be like any of them, but I would say that I was really inspired by many of their works. And one of my biggest motivation has always been the decision to want to be better every given day. And I'm being very intentional about this because I remember working in a ministry many pretty years ago, and um, working in that ministry changed and challenged my ideology about mentorship, and you know, especially in the concept of Africa. So I don't want to really get into that because it just reminds me of very sad experiences I had as a young person. But beyond that, I would say that my biggest motivation has always just been the fact that I want to be better. For just no reason, I want to be better. I have a wife, and yes, she does look up to me, and I look up to her on many occasions. But then beyond that, I just want to be better. Better for myself, better for the people that look up to me, and better for the persons that I look up to in the media world. Not really in the public speaking team, but in the media world. Maybe senior colleagues, and all that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
So different perspective. That's different perspective on life, and that's exactly why we're here. But it still
Right.
comes to one major point, which MJ also still emphasized on. Nobody's going to take you up and do it for you, because at the end of the day,
Right.
Mr. Izu got his motivation internally. MJ still got a motivation internally with some external motivation. So there's nothing wrong with getting external motivation from people, but you also need to motivate yourself internally
Yes.
to know that there are different reasons why you can do this. We're on YouTube. There's a lot of free knowledge. You can watch big names, like you mentioned, international speakers and people that have done it on international stages. If you watch them and you want to be like that, or you want to learn things from them, there are so many things to learn. There's so much free knowledge. I also mentioned in one post why many people don't even utilize this free knowledge. I'm shocked on that. I said, from I've done this for years, and I've realized that a lot of people, they love free things, but they don't value them. Because if you know the value of the things that have helped someone like myself and Mr. Izu now, even on YouTube, from free knowledge that I've gained on the platform that I was able to monetize in different ways to get it across to people, you'll be shocked. I'm always wondering why people don't utilize it. And then secondly, they just seem to have some form of nonchalance towards it, which is not supposed to be the case. Because at the end of the day, there's only one way that you're going to get better, is by putting the work in and valuing the resources in front of you. Now, we have two speakers on board, but don't be shocked because we have four of them that are meant to be joining us. Dr. Vivian is going to be joining us shortly. And Mr. Joshua as well is going to be on board with us. But before we get into um, all these other reasons and different aspects of what they had to do, I also just picked the reference of the $18,000. For those who don't get the joke, you have to just forget about it. We're not talking about it here. Anyway, so some key points and some recap for myself. If you're not able to embrace your identity, embrace who you are, become exactly what you want people to know you for, then it's going to be a problem. I listen to big speakers. I listen to people like Vusi Temekwayo a lot. A lot of people may admire his form of speaking, and then you would realize that, okay, how was he able to do this? Every good thing takes time. So now my question to you now, Mr. Izu, now is, how long do you think is the minimum period somebody can, for yourself as well, maybe when you reach to that peak in your career? Because I know you say you faced embarrassment twice. That period in your career where like, okay, maybe I took 1 year, 2 years practice, 3 years, and then now I am so confident in my skills that I can break down any stage. How long do you think it takes somebody to get to that point in their career? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, you're really asking very intelligent questions. For me, this session has been very enlightening, even to me. I'm
I'm sorry,
learning a
Mr.
lot in
Izu.
the
I don't mean
process.
to cut you off, but I just want to let Dr. Vivian onto the stage while you're also speaking. Then I would let
Okay,
her talk later. So you may just say on stage. All right.
okay, okay. So, I mean, I must truly confess that this session has been very enlightening, and I truly commend you for not just putting together an event to make a noise, but for asking the right questions. And those questions are very objective questions. So, there are so many people that say they learn public speaking under 2 days, one day. They learn they became world-class public speakers. I am thrilled to announce that I just became a world-class speaker after undertaking a training with Mr. Izu for 2 days. It's a lie. You can't. It's not possible. Under the surface of this earth, you can never become a world-class speaker in 2 days. I just took a program under Mr. Bernard, and I'm thrilled to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that I have received a certification as a world-class communicator. I'm ready now to attend your events and speak in conferences. It's a lie. If you truly want to master the art of public speaking, mastering the mastery of public speaking, you should not target anything less than 6 months of consistent practice. You see, there is what is called financial goals, project goals. You should also have what is called communications goals, public speaking goals. And what this is about is setting goals that you intend to attend on weekly basis, on monthly basis, until you have done this consistently for 6 months plus. You do not qualify to be a great speaker. Because you can be a wonderful speaker on LinkedIn, but when we invite you on a real life occasion to communicate, it will just be a foresight of an incredible and sad experience. So in order to avert all of those nonsense from happening, you need to be able to target at least 6 good months of consistent practice. And this practice entails listening to speakers, reviewing the speeches, doing some speech practices, voice practices, content practices, standing on your own, speaking to someone that trusts you and believes in you, recording your voice, recording yourself, and most importantly, loving yourself. So 6 months plus can at least get you to the level where you've been able to pay attention to a couple of things that qualifies you to be one that when you open your mouth, you will not only wait for people to be proud of you, but you will be proud of yourself. You know, as I'm speaking right here, also listening to myself. And for some reason, I'm asking myself, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I wasn't this intelligent. I wasn't this coherent. I wasn't this consistent with the flow of my words. You know, and I'm just kind of proud of myself. Like, there is no problem being proud of yourself in the public. Let's normalize it. MJ, is it wrong to be proud of yourself in the public? If it's wrong, Izuchukwu, Ukandu, I'm proud of you. I just wanted to say that 6 months plus can get you to the point where you become so proud of yourself to at least be heard and also make some great impact in people's lives. But thanks a lot, Mr. Bernard, for asking these objective questions. Over to you, please.
Okay, so you've heard it from the horse's mouth that public speaking takes time to master it. All you have to do is embrace exactly who you are. You don't have to speak like a particular person. You can just be your own person. Now, before I go into that, now we can see your video, Dr. Vivian. We're already live on YouTube. So while you are just saying yourself, we can't hear you though. Maybe your mic is muted. Okay. All right. So I'll be coming to you shortly. But just to address what Mr. Ezra just spoke about now, There are various practices and various ways you can become better in public speaking. He just mentioned some things, recording yourself, doing this, doing that. There are so many things. And these things take time. So don't expect yourself that you just do it once, twice, and then in 2 days you are now a global speaker and then you have all the confidence. You always learn. Learning never ends. We keep on learning daily at various occasions, keep on learning new words, learning new pronunciations, and all these help you to become a better public speaker. Now, we have the president of Phoenix Gates Limited here with us live now, Dr. Vivian. I don't know. Can you say hello to the house first of all to make sure you can
Hello, can
hear
you all
me?
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank you very
All right.
much.
So I wouldn't want to water down your accomplishments and everything you've done. I know you've trained a lot of founders to develop their voice, and she's also known as Dr. Ginger. If you don't know her now, she's the mother eagle as well. So various things you want to call her. At the end of the day, she helps people become better in their career when it comes to anything, monetizing, public speaking, and we're here to talk about monetization. Now, I want to hear from you, Dr. Vivian, while the question goes on as well. You can also maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your story of how you got into public speaking when you realized. Because for me personally, I think since I've known you, I've known that Dr. Vivian is a public speaker. She likes to talk in her own way. She drops a lot of content, speaking, and things like that. So I want to know when you discovered this, your story into public speaking, when you discovered that, okay, I can do this, this is my niche or something I can actually monetize and become a public speaker. How did this happen to you? I want to hear your story, and we want to hear from you. Thank you very
Okay,
much, Dr. Vivian.
amazing. Good evening, everyone. At least from my side of the world, I can see Dr. Izu. Good to see you there, sir. Thank you so much, Bernard, for this amazing opportunity. I think I saw MJ. Usually, I have challenges with pronouncing Moyo. This Moyo name is a lot of work for me, so I'm going to just stay with
Okay.
Moyo. But I hope you love the name Moyo. There's somebody who is spiritually very significant in my life that bears that name. I think he's now a general or so. Yes, so it's super easy to remember you that way. I just want to say that I honor you. Thank you so much. I don't know if I've missed on your conversations, and then I want to celebrate everybody who is currently on the our conversations right now. I think I can see Anna. I can see Phonics. Is it Phonics Hub? Oh, lovely. So you're bearing something similar to our names. I can see Christiana Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. It's so good to see you. I'm always very excited to see come out. I don't know anything that will make me visible. I love it because I always say it every single time that visibility and impact, they are almost parallel. Yes, but if you have impact,
Right.
definitely people will know you. But then visibility, you can walk your way through visibility down to impact. So that's going to lead me to maybe talking about my own story and how I started speaking publicly. Now, the thing is, most of us who are currently on this call right now are already speaking publicly. Like anytime you have to have a conversation outside your mind, like outside your maybe those inner thoughts, maybe you're trying to talk to a friend, you are actually already speaking out of your immediate zone. So it means that people would listen on to you for anything at all, whether in the public, in churches, in school. For me, my public speaking journey essentially started from medical school. Oh Jesus, the medical school. I don't know anybody who is here. If medical school, Jesus, I don't know if you have a family member or anybody who has passed through medical school, and then even the residency training, it is mad. I mean, these guys, they cook fear as meal. So you're not just speaking publicly, you also want to speak so that somebody will not call you a goat. I mean, people call people goats, people's fathers. Like you're doing a round, somebody you just say something, and the person is like, so now that you have spoken like a cow, are you happy with yourself? So the challenge in the medical school is not even essentially that you're going to speak and everybody says, oh, you're speaking right. Is that it's possible that your answers will be entirely stupid and somebody else might, usually our trainers, they will not play because they feel like, anyway, like we always say every single time, it has to do with people's lives. So no error is permitted, no error is permitted. So you're now going to have two anxieties: the anxiety of speaking publicly, that's number one, then the anxiety of making sure that you're always stuffed up. like knowledge. You're always reading. When they ask you any question, you're supposed to be releasing it as bullets. And for us in the medical field, if you're too sluggish, when the public speakers are training, they will say reduce your pace, your pauses, and all that. For us, if you pause, the idea is that you don't know. That's why you're trying to think through your thoughts. When you open your mouth, you're actually supposed to run. They call it verbal diarrhea, like for us in our niche, right? So it means that you're actually supposed to be delivering it, because people, when they come into emergencies, right, our environment is usually fast paced. So in fact, it even kind of dictated how I talk. So maybe if people who are in the main public speaking niche see me talk, they'll be like, but internet, of course, all of us know that there's the internet public speaking and then there's the real life public speaking. On the internet, if you want to do all those pauses and those relaxations, somebody will just say next, and then your videos will do very poorly, and then your most times you find out that your own, maybe your YouTube or wherever it is, will not grow. So I'm just trying to say this now. My first statement is that we went from impact, and then now we're talking about how that you are actually speaking publicly. It's just that you haven't paid attention. Now, if you have nerves, right, the best thing that can happen to you is this generation. So if you have challenges with public speaking, you are in the right generation to demystify it. Of course, Dr. Izu has already spoken about having coaches, having a duration of time. But me, one thing I've seen, I sometimes at my spare time, I go to TikTok and I see wonders. Hey God, you see all these 60 years old, 50 years old, 30 years old doing rag, rag, rag. They- I just went tribal, guys. Please permit me. Sometimes when I enter my elements, I can go that way. Like literally, you just see people's mouth when they open it. They just say, "Hello, everyone. You're coming. You're welcome to my." That's just what. If you're coming for the first time on TikTok, you'll be like, "Where? What's this place? What's going on here?" Some people are crazy or something. But then it's also trying to tell you that, of course, whatever end of the public speaking spectrum you are in, you're definitely going to have a platform that can accommodate you, of course, while you work with a coach to develop yourself. So for me, like I said, from the hospital, the anxiety, the pressure of talking because you had to talk, and then we went into the showing up here. I think for me, one thing that changed my life was when we started the Phoenix Gates, right? Where we had to talk every week for like 8 months or so. It's life transforming. And I'm still saying it again. If there's anybody here who is looking to start their journey towards public speaking, please, like Mr. Izu was talking about himself, start speaking to yourself in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. For me, that's the spiritual connotation of it. It means have those cameras before you and start talking. You have to get comfortable. For go on live on TikTok where nobody knows you. Okay, it requires maybe 1,000 followers. Yes, then get to 1,000, right? Go from people's, like, from one life to the other, and grow your channel enough to go on lives. Then for YouTube, 50 subscribers, get all your family members to subscribe to your channel and start going live on your own. Before you know it, every single time where you have an opportunity to exercise yourself, like I understand where Mr. Izu was coming from. Okay, somebody just said this, Gen Z don't play. I tell you, this generation, my I don't know how to explain it, but I am super excited about them. I am super excited about them. I don't know. This is the best season to grow in, where things are no longer hard, where you actually just need to just start doing things already. Just start. You're going to learn on the way. So like I said again, YouTube, ensure you just have 50 subscribers. Go on and start speaking about anything. Talk to your family members. If you need to build a community, please build the people that will support you, even when you're talking nonsense, when you're shaking. It's a phase. See, it will pass. Now, the thing about speaking without anxiety is that when you have built enough energy, so the anxiety can come from different things. In medicine, it's called low stuff. We call it hypostophemia, right? So it means that you don't know Jingbine, but you went to organize an event, but you don't know anything in that field. You're going to definitely, you will be anxious. That's one anxiety. Then the second one might be that, okay, you know a lot, but you're not the type who would always talk often, right? You're still going to have anxiety, right? But the thing is, as you position yourself for impact, so me going back to where I started in the beginning again, as you position yourself for impact and you are consistently dishing things. See, the energy of staying awake at night to prepare your notes, the energy of teaching people will all of a sudden start burning out some of these challenges. And sincerely, I don't know when last I had any form of unnecessary anxiety to talk. In fact, what one of the things I do now is when I'm working late nights, right? I'm currently training myself into videography and a few more things just to add to my portfolio. When I'm working late nights, I just go on TikTok and I see people's room. I'll tell them to add me to the box. If I collect mic, now so I go talk from morning to night. So if you're not from this side of the world, I just said that is how I will talk from morning to night. Sometimes some people will like, and I've not gone to any room where they told me not to come back. They will be begging me, oh, we're going to invite you next time, which is it's not hard. Just like what Dr. Izu said, once you accept yourself, get comfortable with yourself, the goal is not to stifle yourself to think that you'll never make it, right? Just start, right? Start in church. Any single time where you're asked to do presentations on Sunday, I see. In fact, was it last 3 weeks I spoke in my. Was it last 3 weeks? Yes, last 3 weeks. I spoke in my church. It was my pastor. I pitied. When I finished talking, I just said, "Oh Jesus, I've never done something like this. I don't know. He has never seen me. My both pastors, they've never seen me in that light, because I've always been the type that I will just stay somewhere behind. Sincerely, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm at this phase right now of my life where all I just need is a platform and let me just explode. And I'll say it again, it's not magic. It's just that little, that those Sundays that you'll be tired and you still have to prepare notes, like you still have to. I'll say it again. Go on YouTube, start a YouTube channel and just be talking about one particular thing. Just niche down. Just make sure you niche down, because it will help you build what did they call it? Frameworks of knowledge in your mind, so that when you just open up your mouth,
Right.
you just be dishing that particular knowledge effortlessly. You find out that when you are now brought to speak with other
Yeah,
people on a particular subject matter, it's just the law of the universe.
that's
I will
true.
say it
Actually,
again, right? The law of the universe is that once you exchange long enough,
yeah.
your mind will align itself to excellence in that particular direction. And
So
then
just
before you
to
know it,
yeah. All right,
speaking is nothing.
Dr. Vivian.
Okay. Sorry, I hope I didn't speak for too long.
Dr. Vivian wants to show her skills of public speaking to let you know how she can flow and keep on. And that's actually something that I've noticed. Like she mentioned, you have to utilize the various channels you have, utilize the access that you already have. When you get an opportunity to talk in various platforms, utilize it. She also mentioned how she got the opportunity to use it at first. Well, her own came compulsorily in medical school when she just had to do it. There are things in school like you have presentations, you have things to do. Some people still don't have the um, energy or the motivation or the confidence, I'll use that word, to have the proper presentation. Now, something else she also mentioned, I don't know why she's always learning new skills. Always keep on learning, like she already mentioned. Now, without wasting much time, I want to go into a very critical point now that is the trending part of in the generation right now. And I'll just take this one after the other. I'll go from MJ's point, then to Mr. Izu, and then to Dr. Vivian. To find out now your own view on, do you have maybe recommendations or what do you think about artificial intelligence now when it comes to public speaking? Is there a way somebody can become a better public speaker utilizing artificial intelligence? That is one aspect of the question. Then the second aspect of the question is, do you think that public speaking is going to maybe go down a bit because there may be no need for that again since AI can then speak? You can just automate voices and then just put it out there and people just speak. Whatever you want to say, AI can do it for you in your own way. So I want to know from your own perspective, MJ, and then we'll get to Mr. Izu. What do you have recommendations for people for utilizing AI or something? Have you ever used it to help yourself speak better or do public speaking better? That's my question to you, MJ.
Personally, AI cannot replace people. I say this all the time. Yes, AI is here to stay. I accept it. but it is only to assist, not, it cannot fully replace people. So, in terms of AI assisting in public speaking, I would say it is better to use it in terms of presentation, helping you to, make your presentation or your storytelling more appealing to people rather than maybe speaking for you. AI does not have this sense of humor. We've been, Mr. Izu has been making me laugh all evening, and it's been so funny. And when Dr. Magnus started talking to, I've been smiling and laughing. AI does not have that human touch, the emotion. There's no way it can replace us. So I think for me, that's my opinion. It cannot replace people, but it can assist you. It can give you ideas. It can support you. I think I've heard of, is it Gemini or something that assists with presentation? We have ChatGPT to also help you with, ideas, but it cannot fully replace you. You still need that emotion. You still need that humanness. So it cannot do that. It can just assist. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your own points, and you actually covered the both aspects. Now to you, Mr. Izu. Artificial intelligence. It is a trending topic. Speak on
Yeah,
it.
I would say that, I mean, I completely agree with what MJ said. We are all zombies without humor. We are all zombies without stories. And what this simply means is that AI can only enhance the knowledge and the information that we have. It can only support. But for us to be able to be intelligent communicators, you need to be able to at least come with your own human knowledge, human experience. That is where storytelling comes, that is where humor comes. Your audience will consider you as a zombie the moment you just come there, talk like an AI and walk away. They want to interact with your person. If you listen to Dr. Vivian, she just been herself. And that is the power and the force of communications. Being yourself is ultimate. Being yourself is king. So that is why if you show up, tell a story, just be yourself, and most importantly, be someone that engages deeper level of research. Because what I realize is that AI will become more intelligent than the human intelligence when the human beings fail to do research. So doing a research would help you to be able to complement the ideas of an AI. The more research you engage, the more intelligent you become. And remember that the operations of an AI depends on the intelligence of the human being managing it. So if the human being is not intelligent enough, then the AI will be able to give influence, and possibly when someone now interjects or interacts with what the person is saying, there is no connection. There will be no connection. There will be no human factor attached to it. So my point is very simple. It's completely in affirmation to what MJ has been saying here. No storytelling, no humor, then you are a zombie. Be more intelligent to be able to manage the intelligence of the AI. That's just my point. And if we can be able to understand this, I'm very sure that you can leverage AI whilst also leveraging your factor and the ultimacy of being a human being. This is very important. Thanks a lot for asking that question, Bernard. I'll throw the mic over
All
to you
right.
back.
So I
Thank
have
you.
I have actually have more serious questions to hit you with soon, but I just want us to drop this bomb on AI already and thinking about it. Suggestions from you now, maybe Dr. Vivian. Have you ever used AI in your public speaking organization or things of that nature, content wise, just to help yourself become a better public speaker? And what do you think about the future of public speaking and AI? Yes.
Okay, I'll just give a quick story, a quick background story. When I was still very active on Upwork, I was a health content writer, and then I was contacted by a company in the US to write part of the algorithm for a particular disease. So we're among the people who were going to give the back end of what every other person will finally search as AI right now. Now, I would want to,
Sorry,
I don't
I
know,
don't mean
this
to cut you
topic that
short. I
you've
don't mean to
touched
cut you
somewhere.
short, but like Adu
Okay,
Joshua is about to join
okay,
us, so I just so if you see him on stage, don't be shocked. That's all I just want to say. You can continue.
okay,
He's with us now. All right.
okay, awesome. So I had I was part of the few persons who contributed on the knowledge of a particular disease, a specific disease. So it meant people all across the world were contributing to the back end of what you now call AI. Now, this is me coming back to the question. AI is actually expertise all across the world. And as we speak, every single day, people are fine-tuning those things. In fact, AI is becoming finer and finer and finer in its output. So why I had to make this statement, maybe because of what MJ has said, Dr. Izu also, just to add this, right? This is not a time to say, okay, if AI is gonna, is that AI does a lot, from writing ideas, from your storytelling. You can actually tell AI, hi AI, I'm about to create a video. I do that every week. In fact, I do that every day. I do videos almost every single day. So if you're not actively putting out content, you won't know what AI can be
True.
to you. That's
That's
just the
actually true.
truth. If you are not actively putting out, it's easier for you to wait until you get opportunities when you're called to speak somewhere. You might not know what it takes. But if you're a content creator, which definitely all content creators are actually public speakers that don't know, or who don't plant, or who might not have fine-tuned themselves. So that's why we have Dr. Izu right here. So if you have to maybe do all that, ensure you reach out to him, right? But then every content creator is a public speaker. And every time you have to curate, like he said, doing a research, AI will produce those topics, the write-ups,
Yeah,
every single thing, the conversation. It's going to give you
that's
the
actually
hook.
true.
In fact, when I'm creating my videos, I am very specific. Give me a very humanized, emotional. So what she was complaining about, emotions, AI will even give you the emotions that you probably would not have paid attention to for that particular topic. It's easier for you to maybe flow very well when you're talking about business and then storytelling. But for a particular conversation, topic of conversation, you might not have the exact story, or you might not even know that you have that story. So having AI to ask them specific questions, I want the hook. I want a CTA that would literally have cause more engagement. By the time you do this back to back, you see that every single time your video stands out. And just like she says, Gemini is excellent. I mean, now because of Gemini, sincerely, and it's because of Gemini, I'm saying the truth, I'm not lying. I used to tell myself, any public speaking opportunity, bring it on. I mean, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, my slides are ready. 2 minutes.
That's
So
yeah.
please, we're not in the generation
So
where we're saying,
I
is
like that point
AI,
actually.
should AI? The
I like that
question
point you just
is,
made now because
you said
no, I mean I like the point you just made
no,
now
two
because
minutes.
the truth of the matter is if you don't use AI, you're just going to have there's a lot to do and then you need to use AI to become a better speaker, just like how MJ has already recommended. Maybe using things like Gemini. If you want to talk about slides as well, there's Gamma. Personally, myself, I use this a lot.
Gamma, actually, it was Gamma I was
Yes,
talking about. Sorry
Gamma. Then
about
I
that.
also use various other tools as well to help myself present these topics, organize your thoughts. Just like Mr. Izu has mentioned, your emotions are necessary. So AI would may not be able to actually help you express yourself. It may not tell you when to use your hands or when to reduce your voice or increase your voice. Things of that nature. AI would not help you do that.
It does actually. It
Oh,
does. You have to prompt it that
if
way.
you prompt it,
So there is
yeah,
prompt
okay.
engineering for AI. Okay, this might be another topic entirely, but
No,
you actually will
yes,
have
you're
to
right.
ask
You're actually
AI
right.
specific questions in that direction, and they will give you all
Oh
that.
yes.
Sorry,
No, yes.
I'll mute now.
Still on that point that you just made now, prompt engineering. It's actually a different aspect that you actually need to know how you're asking AI questions so that your answers would be better. But then when you're presenting on stage and doing other things, make sure you just become better. I don't know. Joshua, can you actually hear me? You've been on and off. I don't know. I can't see your video anyway, but can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm trying to like pick a background, but it's not picking. But I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Maybe when we would be able to see you, then I'll just quickly come to you. Then maybe this next question I'll be asking now, it would since you can hear me though, you would drop your own points on this as well. Now, my question now, Izu, you're going to go first on this critical question because you mentioned when you're telling your story on how you forgot certain things you were going to say. That actually is in the beginning part of your journey, and you also still mentioned on how sometimes you can be nervous before coming on stage. I have done a lot of presentations, I have done a lot of master classes and webinars. But when I was still trying to host this now, for instance, something still kept on happening. I don't know why I was still feeling something inside, like something is happening. Despite this is not my first time on YouTube, not my first time anyway. So I want to ask, do you have a particular ritual or maybe how do you deal with maybe nervousness, like all that when your nerves before you go on stage? Do you have any particular thing that you do to help you, maybe before you get on stage, to help you speak better, speak with more confidence, so that it's not obvious? Because you mentioned you were quite, but anyway, it's not showing. How do you do it so it's not obvious to the crowd? Your nerves don't show to the crowd. Do you have rituals or things of that nature? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that question, Mr. Bernard. That is where mastery comes in. Mastery, the word mastery is a journey, it's an experience. And what happens through an experience is you pay attention to inflow of things, you pay attention to experiences, you pay attention to errors, you pay attention to your advantages. It's an experience, it's a journey. That is what mastery is about. So for me, there are many ways that I utilize in managing my fears, my insecurities. Part of it is, if I'm speaking, I want to make sure that I am not faster than the people I'm speaking to. I want to make sure that I'm not faster than the original person here. And how that works is that I listen to myself as I speak. And I mastered this in the place of mastering the art of public speaking. So I do that a lot. So as I'm speaking to you right now, I'm listening to myself, very attentive about listening to myself, very intentional about it. I count my words, I count my expressions. This is how it works for me. So for some reason, there is a point that I get to, I realize that, hey, Isu, you are being faster than the people listening to you. So you have to pace down. And then most occasions, I just have to pace up because the people listening to me, they are anticipating more. So I have to just improve on the speed, improve on the velocity with which I'm expressing my ideas. The second thing I would like to say in regards to this is this. I have mastered the use of words. You see, public speaking, it's about communications, and communications comes back to what you're saying. What you're saying comes back to words, comes back to ideas, comes back to letters. So I have mastered how to be able to use my injunctions, how to use my nouns, my pronouns. You have to be able to learn all of those things. They are very component. They are very, very important if you want to really sound different. The next thing that helps me is when I feel very nervous on the stage, I either touch my nose. Now, when you're communicating, when your body comes in contact with an object, it has a way of sending a message to your brain. I'm not a medical doctor, but medical doctors can be able to prove this. There is this thing that works with the nerves. So when I touch my nose, I become more conscious of what I need to do. Now, touching my nose passes a message to me that, hey, Izu, you are in charge. Hey, Izu, you're making sense. Hey, Izu. So I do this a lot. Sometimes you see me, I touch my nose, and sometimes you see me, I just go this way. So when I go this way, I'm breathing in, and then I lose out. So doing all of these things, they were things I mastered in a place of practice and mastery of communications. And the other one that I do, which is very important, is before you show up to make a presentation, you must have engaged on series of speech practices and reviews. Now, I'm not going to say that before I came here that I did any practice. No, I don't have to do any practice to come here to talk about public speaking here. But I would say that fortnights ago, a few days ago, I had conversations with my wife. And whilst I was speaking to my wife, sorry if you're not married here, but I just have to make reference to this, and you'll be married in Jesus' name, amen. So whilst I was speaking to my wife, I realized that for some reason, I was losing my wife. I was speaking to her, she was sleeping. So when I started telling another story, she woke up and became very interested in what I was talking about. So you see, these are different angles to communications that you have to master. Honestly, Mr. Bernard, I'm a very realistic public speaking coach. Anything that has to do with mastering how to control yourself on the stage comes back to you getting to work. I'm going to say this again. It comes back to you getting to discover what works for you. Cosmos has what works for him. He doesn't speak correct English on the stage, but he makes a lot of sense. Jamie Pajuel speaks a lot. Like he tries to bring in his Canadian accent with his Igbo accent, and the two of them meets together and all that, and that's fantastic. And you listen to our $20,000 coach. You know, everybody, they all have their different dynamics, but the most important thing is very simple here. You have to embark on a journey of discovering what works for you. No matter how I tell you what has worked for me, if you do not embark on a journey to discover what can work for yourself, then everything I'm saying here is going to be pouring water on the stone and sounding like a broken record. So the most important thing is listening to Dr. Vivian, listening to MJ, listening to Mr. Bernard, and listening to my humble self. You need to ultimately ask yourself some fundamental questions. What happens when you are communicating? I think this is a question that many people don't ask. What happens when you are communicating? What happens when the people listening to you begins to lose you at some point? So if you answer this question objectively by paying attention to the interaction that happens between yourself and the people you're speaking to, you are going to discover a lot of things that works for you for some reason in the process of expressing yourself. So this is quite important. And Mr. Bernard, as I'm speaking to you right here and the audience, I'm experiencing fright. I'm losing my words.
That's exactly the point. Since we can't tell, that's what I'm just saying. How do you make us not to tell?
I'm just being very objective. Yeah, like I'm being very objective about it right here. So I'm only connecting myself to how much I have mastered the mastery of public speaking. And that is what is helping me here. When I forget my words, I try to use something else that interjects. I try to sound in a certain way. I try to use a word. I try to bring in humor. I try to use some objects. I try to touch myself and
Okay.
all of that. They've taken my light. They'll bring it back very soon. Sound in here, and that is how it works.
All right. Yes, thank you very much for that amazing contribution. You actually hit the nail on the head. He actually gave some key points on how he helps himself when he wants to go on stage. Now, MJ, can I hear from you on maybe those things you do, those rituals you perform before you get on stage to help yourself just calm down and not show your nerves so people don't know you're nervous?
Thank you for the question. The first thing I'm going to say is that I'm not a professional public speaker like Mr. Izu, who didn't need to practice because before I came, I've been thinking of, okay, possible questions. What I need to prepare. I'm someone who prepares. I don't like to be caught unprepared or unaware. So preparation is my forte. So I really took my time to, think of possible questions and how to respond to them. Well, none of them you've asked, Joe, but I think I've been trying my best not to, fumble. And I'm also someone who believes in keeping it short. I don't like talking too much. I'm sorry. I'm not. I like to keep it short
No, it's
because
good. That's a good.
once you
You work
begin
with time. I like that.
yeah, so I try to keep it short. And another thing is my register. Yeah, people use vocabulary, but I really don't believe in, when you speak big grammars, then you communicate. I like to just keep it simple, pass my message across as simple as possible, maintain eye contact. It really helps. And my most important I would say is confidence. I like to wear it, my dressing. It helps me to be confident. The way I dress, it has this beautiful addition that it gives me confidence to be able to talk because I know that people are gonna listen to me. And I also try to keep my smile on so that you can get, you can, keep the attention to what I'm saying. So those are the things that work for me.
Okay, so very important and interesting points. Preparation is key actually. It's actually very good to prepare for things you want to do. Personally, myself, I don't go on stage or anywhere without some form of preparation, even if the level of preparation reduces over time. I think that is why somebody like Mr. Izu doesn't even need to prepare anymore because he has
Yeah.
gotten to that part where he has over prepared for so many other things and things of that nature. So no need for preparation. But personally, before I go on stage, there's some form of preparation that also helps you reduce, because when you know what you want to say, it helps to reduce your nerves. Now, to you, Dr. Vivian, is there anything you do before you come on stage that helps you reduce those nerves so that people don't know that, okay, she's nervous, she doesn't know what to say, or maybe things like that? So just maybe give us some points.
Okay, like I'm going to give an example for like this event. I didn't have anything in mind. I didn't prepare for nada. I just showed up. That's what I did. And like I said it again, I think while I was having my opening conversation, I said it crystal clear. There's a position. I always tell my community, right? The creator mode. And I think it's one honor God gives to people who dish out things back to back every single time. So if you're generally somebody who is planned out, somebody who gives, someone who is always about other people, you find that your brain will already build blocks of giving. It's just an honor. I can't explain. That's the best thing I can tell anybody. That's why you find actors, actresses, they might have a little jitters here and there at the beginning, but as they go far, I mean, it's like what's his name? Should I say Van Damme might have a little defects in the sense that he doesn't speak English properly. That could be a form of anxiety. Maybe the first thing I want to say is anxiety is attached to different things. If this is your first time speaking online, you'll be anxious. If this is your first time speaking on a particular topic, you're going to be anxious. If it's your first time as well, probably speaking in a particular team of person, maybe because of the caliber. Oh, Dr. Izu, may God have mercy on me. I don't used to have all those things again. I am free, I'm a free man because I say it again. Once you enter a place where you have become one with God in the sense of giving out, I'll say, I don't know how to explain this. It's something I can give to you right now. And I'm hoping that everybody who is listening can just pay attention. Get to that point where you are a giver. And let me tell you, when the Bible says a giver never lacks, it's literal. It's literal. It means that when you are giving consistently, right, you know that the world is wired for exchange. As in, you can't lack anything. It's a matter of time. So you see somebody who is very good, it's a matter of time. You see somebody who speaks and everybody says it's a matter of time. And when you consistently give, all those anxieties will literally just go. But from the medical point of view, I would say the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. So for those people who are probably just starting out, you take in air for the first 4 counts, hold it for 7 counts, release it over 8. Every single time that your diaphragm gets bigger, and the more, so you find out that singers easily speak because generally you now have better reserve. So all the energy that would have come from the anxiety will stay down. Okay, another thing would be take a long walk, jog, or dance before every event. Sit in a more comfortable position. Like you can see my back. I'm prompt up, even though I'm not sincerely, I'm not having any anxiety. May God have mercy on me. Maybe so maybe when I go to Grammys, then I'll have anxiety. And I'm not saying any. Of course, like I said again, if it's your first time speaking, for me, the internet is now my child. Like
Yes.
I've led people in this direction for the longest, so I it's my forte. So I would say it again. If you give consistently, find ways to give as regards public speaking. While you work with your coach, if you just work with your coach and you're receiving one way in, you will still not grow until you start giving. It's just the law of life.
Yes.
So I'll say it again. My 2 points were creator modes and then your exercises, right? Whether breathing exercise or exercise, and then lastly, practicals. Just ensure that you're always seeing yourself doing the same thing over and over again. And anxiety will see you and shake hands with you and
Yeah.
say, guys, we've got
That's
this.
actually
Thank you so much. The mic is
very
yours.
important. Because the truth of the matter is we have some people that are going to be seeing this video later on, and those who are here who are still trying to become more confident in their skills, and then they're trying to steal one or two tricks to help them become better public speakers. And these are very valuable points. You've mentioned the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Mr. Izu as well has also mentioned touching your body. I don't want you to start. He also mentioned Dr. Vivian. I don't want her to start dropping medical jargons for us now about what it is called. So, because she already mentioned phosphorophobia or something of that nature, and let me not go back there. So, Adu Joshua, I can't see you. I don't know if you can hear me, and I don't know if you're ready to speak on this point before we go into your own personal question before we round off. We're almost done with this session anyway. Joshua, can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, I can hear you now. Once again, my name is Adu Joshua Opeyemi.
Maybe there's a problem with your camera.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, maybe your. I mean, we can't see you. It's
Yeah.
turned off.
Yes, it's turned off.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we have a discussion earlier, and I told you I'll be coming by
Okay.
6.
Okay. Yes. 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 Okay. That's true. Sorry. All right. So maybe just go ahead. Can you speak though?
Okay. My
Can you
name is
speak right
Adu.
now?
My name is Adu Joshua Opeyemi. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here again, and to the speakers who have spoken. Is an opportunity to see all the leaders again. Like it's been a while. Oh my God, it's been a while. But thank you for bringing this again and again and again. Yeah, on the discussion on grant, I will say before I even before I even accept any speaking engagement, I usually have a proper discussion with the host in terms of the time, because sometimes the host time might not be feasible to the speaker coming. So I have a proper discussion with the host
Yes.
himself that host, okay, if they are having this social time, can social time be adjusted just to make sure that the event is going on perfectly well,
Of course.
and to make sure that the audience enjoys the event. That is one. Then secondly, for me, I do my personal research before coming regarding the topic, because I can't just come out and start talking about the topic I don't know about. Because to be honest with you, me myself, no matter how good I am in the field, research happen every single day and results are different. So I take my time to do some research about the topic before coming into stage. Once again, my name is Adu Joshua
Okay.
Okoyemi. Over
Yes.
to you.
Mr. Joshua, sorry for not considering your time to that extent. But the truth of the matter is, we're still going to be here. Dr. Vivian, for instance, has another event she has to be at. So by 6, she's going to be off this stage. And I believe by 6 is when Joshua will be able to speak more freely and maybe turn on his camera, like we already discussed before this session. That was well understood. Unfortunately, other speakers had other things after 6, so we had to do it this way. So I hope the audience understands why this is happening. So, for those who don't know Adu Joshua, you can search him on LinkedIn. He's a big time influencer and also a content writer, research strategist. He has used his voice in various ways to make himself better. And maybe you meet him later when he has the opportunity to properly speak and introduce himself again. But I have my final question now. Not my final question, sorry. But my final question for Dr. Vivian, before maybe she leaves. During your journey, in your journey to become a public speaker, can you maybe just tell us, if you can mention more than one, that would be interesting. Public speaker that you admire, that you've probably watched or learned from, that you recommend other people to use their own channel or their own method of speaking, whatever it is that you've learned in your journey. Just a speaker that you think helped you in your way coming up. You can mention more than one, more than two, maybe the ones you admire. Thank you. The mic is yours. To Dr. Vivian, first of all.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for this question again. For me, well, I've always loved Vuzi. I don't know. I've always anyway, he's not entirely he calls himself a global speaker, not a public speaker. So his niche is majorly business. So because I am prone to business, I like listening to everything he has to say about businesses. Literally almost every day. He inspires me a lot. But Brian Tracy here and there, I've been able to binge on his materials. When our community started public our public speaking trainings, where we had Dr. Izu and every other person come on board. I went first of all before before bringing my people into it. I went and I consumed a lot of Brian Tracy's materials, and then from him I realized that it wasn't really something. Initially I wanted to paint one picture that would exclude me, but then when I listened to him over and over again and how he simplified the whole concept, and I think Brian Tracy is majorly motivational. I
Yes.
can't really, he trains people for public speaking, but he trains people for other things. Um, corporate trainings and all that. So I realized that, okay, public speaking itself is not, yes, I think I can reiterate this because I've heard um Dr. Izu also say it's a skill, not a vocation. So it's not, there's nobody who will say they're entirely public speakers, even though it's a good way to just identify people. But then you have to have a niche that you are passionate about, that you can easily discourse. Then you can position yourself as someone who would be invited anywhere for it. And there, that means eventually you'll be called a public speaker. So the goal was to get excellent in what you are doing, and that is what is preached all across borders, right? Get excellent in what you're doing, and then prepare yourself to speak. Of course, learn the basic ethics as he was discussing, but then public speaking, as in, you don't, it's not really something that you should say I'm a public speaker. It's a skill.
All
So
right.
well, you can say I'm a writer. So well,
So you can
that's
actually.
that's essentially one of those liberating thoughts that freed me from all the pressures that came with it. So now most people confuse public speaking with MCs, compares. Those ones, this is what they do. I mean, it's their job to deliver. Hello, gentle ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be all those funny things. Please
I
get
think there are
out of
different
this
aspects of
place.
public speaking anyway.
Of course, that's another class. But every single time people hear public speaking, that's where their minds go to, and it's really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate.
Okay, so
Thank you so much. I'll hand
all
over.
right, thank you very much. And while we're going to be, I wouldn't use the word losing, two amazing speakers at a time. Dr. Vivian has an event by 6. Izu is going to be leaving us too shortly as well. I believe he has an event by 6 p.m. too. So, Izu, I want to hear from you. People on this platform now, they need places to go to, places that have benefited you in your journey, people that you've learned from, people you admire that they can also learn from. Can you recommend those speakers that you admire and you've learned from in your coming up journey?
Yeah, so I would recommend Brenna Brown. Brenna Brown. The lady is such she's a brilliant communicator. And one thing I admire about the way she speaks is that she knows how to use very simple words, simple ideas, relatable phrases, and her expression on the stage is always friendly. And she's a king when it comes to humor, adding humor to her presentations. So that is one person that I would like to recommend to anyone that wants to truly learn how to express themselves intelligently and brilliantly. And the last place I would recommend for anyone to go to is YouTube. Go on YouTube and just give yourself the task of listening to 10 to 15 TED Talks. Listen to those TED Talks consistently, take down notes, write what you love about the speakers, and write down what you don't love about the speakers. Do this consistently in the next 2 months. Something significant would happen to the way you express yourself. That would just be my kind advice to anyone who might want to listen and will be willing to
Okay.
apply. Over to
Yes,
you,
thank you
sir.
very much. Before we let both of you go, Dr. Vivian and Izu, sorry, MJ, I'll come back to you because we're going to be here entertaining others and waiting for Joshua, still talking about very interesting aspects of public speaking that can benefit you. I want you, Dr. Vivian, to complete this sentence. Now, the future of public speaking is, to you, what do you think
On
what do you think the future
what do
what do you
I,
think the future of public speaking is? So maybe just say the future of public speaking is,
well,
just complete it and then
okay, it's just complete.
yes.
Well, the future of public speaking is now. Is speaking now,
All right.
right? You don't have to look forward to what you sound like tomorrow if you're not speaking now. So I would say get those cameras. Please don't underrate. I'll still say it again. Online, online impact. Look around very well. You see that most on ground or people who don't do much online are actually fizzling out by the day because of personal branding. So if you look down on you building your online presence as a speaker, you're really going to go through a lot. So I would say it again. Your future in public speaking, or the future of public speaking, is you speaking now. So ensure that you find ways. So I'm saying it now because as soon as we are done from this event, all you have to do is to click that live with your G3 self, right? Probably just, let me just say, give yourself 3 days to decide on the topic, or 1 week. Okay, let me not make it too hard. 1 week. Just every day when you wake up, go to AI, ChatGPT. I want to speak on a topic. Give me 5 strong points. Give me a hook, right? My hook today was impact and visibility, right? Give me a hook, give me a CTA, and then storytelling. Tell them about yourself, your experience with public speaking. You can even gist about yourself as you're shaking. So you can actually shake on the life.
All right.
Then you can talk about anxiety. But I'm just trying to tell you that there's nothing hard. This thing, life has been demystified and technology has come to stay. So please start now. That's essentially that. Thank you
All
so much.
right. So, Dr. Vivian, thank you very much for coming on this session. It has been an amazing time with you. And I know your show is about to begin, so you're very free to drop off at any point. Maybe before the show begins, you can still hang around with us, or you can drop off now. But then, now to you, Mr. Izu. Just complete the sentence for us. The future of public speaking is.
Yeah, the future of public speaking rests on the shoulders of objective growth rather than perfectionism. Rests on the shoulders of objective growth as opposed to perfectionism. That would just be how I would end that talk. But I want to ask you something, Mr. Bernard. What time is this session meant to stop, please? I
Okay.
don't know if this is the
Yes.
right question here, but
Okay,
I'd like
this
to know.
session, because of we just gave an extra 30 minutes for Joshua, is meant to be 4 to 6:30 p.m. So yes, this is
Okay.
almost 6 p.m. So I was planning to just give an extra 30 minutes for Joshua to come on board and then speak for 30 minutes before we end the session. That's it.
All right. So I'm just going to be here till the next
All
30
right. We're,
minutes.
we're
I'll
definitely
be
ending
here.
by
All
6:30.
right. Thank you so
That's
much.
it. All right.
All right.
So thank you very much for that response. Now, MJ, two questions are then coming your way. The first question that I already asked the other speakers, which is maybe your recommendations. I know you're in academia, so maybe you have some particular people in that field that you admire the way they speak. Since you're not that type of, there are different types of public speakers as well. Dr. Vivian failed to mention that those MCs, their own is entertainment type. Anyway, so your own, in your own aspect, are there people you admire, people that you've learned from as public speakers?
Yes, a professor, Professor Jill, that I mentioned. She's one of the people I admire when it comes to public speaking. She's never shy. She speaks fluently. She's German and she speaks so many languages. So, over the years, I've had professors and lecturers like that that I admire, and also in different fields. For me, someone on the social media space who I really admire is also Tomike Adeoye. But if she's MC, I mean, I know she speaks really well. She's a presenter as well, so she's also someone that I really admire.
Sorry, can you say that name again? Say Tommy something?
Tomike Adeoye. Tomike Adeoye.
Tomike Adeoye. Okay.
Yes, Tomike Adeoye. And who else? Who else? Who else? Yeah, I think for me, professors in my field, and they're the ones I admire.
Okay. So that's very great. Tomike Adeoye, I'm not sure of. I know other people mentioned international speakers. Dr. Vivian mentioned the quite popular ones. She mentioned Brian Tracy and um, yes, and Vusi. Yeah. So, but these ones you're going more Nigerian in this aspect. So I believe those ones have benefited you in your own way, which is also quite great. You can get inspiration from anywhere. So for those who are listening now, you can see that the speakers on board have learned from different areas, both internationally and also locally. So if you want to become a better public speaker, understand the power of public speaking, how it has impacted the lives of those people as well. You can check them out, and I'm sure you're going to see one or two things to learn from them. There's somebody who owns the Mastermind. If anybody knows Mastermind, you can remind me of his name. He's also in that type of aspect like Brian Tracy. But I can't remember his. Yes, I just remember Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, yeah, that's his name. Partnering with. Anyway, I know so many names are coming to my head right now at the top of the dome. So there are amazing speakers that you can learn from. I personally listen to these speakers Vusi mentioned some things about how to become a better public speaker, and also talked about how you just have to. Okay, I was watching something yesterday as well. How you record yourself before you speak. I mean, before you present, rather, you record the session, record yourself speaking, and then don't watch it immediately. This is technique of how to become more confident in your skill. Drop the device down, and then just listen to yourself speak without watching the video. Then later on, you can also just watch the video, put it on mute, and just watch yourself, your hand gestures, and other things. These are also things that help you. And then later on, you watch both. So the more you do this, the better you become as a better public speaker. Now, while we'll be waiting for, because truth of the matter is this session was meant to be, we're giving extra time for, I know, thank you very much to the amazing listeners who are still hanging around with us. And then I'm sure people will be watching this later, they'll be wondering, why is this session 2 hours plus long? It's meant to be 2 hours on the dot. But I'm giving extra 30 minutes for you to enjoy the session a bit, and also for Ado Joshua to have some time to just give us a brief about his background and the story and what has helped him along the way. But now to you, Mr. Izu, something that helps public speakers is they talk about hook a lot when it comes to even writing or speaking. I want to hear from you now. Do you have maybe when you're speaking to an audience, two questions now in one, before you go on stage to speak to the audience? While you're on stage, do you have like an icebreaker, maybe something like a hook, preferable that you a hook suggestion, ideas that you think people should might start with to open up a show that would make people just be like, wow, I want to keep on listening? Because on LinkedIn we do it a lot. So the hook helps you to capture your audience. Now for speaking as well, you're on stage, so it might be quite different. Do you have suggestions or maybe how people can come around that, maybe icebreakers you do to help that? And also the second question you'll be answering, so two in one, is when you're speaking to an audience and you notice that they are getting cold, how do you use this maybe icebreaker to then just maybe wake everybody up? Do you have any trick to just get everybody motivated and gingered in the room? So this is my question to you now to help to so you help us when we are speaking.
Yeah, so I think one of the speakers, MJ or somebody, said that they like to keep their words very simple and relatable. Now, what I would say is hooks are very important. Starting very strong, very important. But for me, I wouldn't want to call it hook. I would say that what works for me is I use my advantage. And my advantage is my voice. I kind of have a commanding voice. So I use my voice when I'm starting a presentation, and anybody in the room would like to know, who is this guy speaking now? You have your own advantage. It can be your smile. You have a very beautiful smile. You can start by smiling on the stage. So it's not just about what you have to say. Remember, we're talking about an important talk here about public speaking, and it's about you, human being. It's about human being. It's about humanity. It's not about AIs. So you can start with your big smiles. You can start with your voice. You can start with the way you're dressed, your looks, your expressions on the stage. Those first impressions are very fundamental to the impact that you want to make on the stage. And the second thing is, ensure that you don't start your presentation with not more than 10 words. Shouldn't be more than 10 words in any sentence you want to make. 5 words, fantastic. 4 words, fantastic. But how you say these words are very important. Don't just say those words as though you were reading from a template. Say those words as though you're speaking to human beings. Voice moderation, voicing, voice articulation, voice dynamics. Saying those words in a way that someone doesn't get tired of listening to you. For example, I want to call my name, say my name is Izuchukwu. They will sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Izuchukwu. You know, you've captured their attention.
I like that.
You just come on the stage, You tell them, I've forgotten what I came to say here
Jot things
today.
down. I hope you are jotting things down. All right.
And they say, are you, I mean, there was a tournament I participated in some time ago, and I was competing against this girl in Port Harcourt many years ago. This girl just came very simply. She came on the large audience. It was about, the audience was over 2,500 people that came to cheer us up, and then they have the winners and all that. This girl just came on the stage. She said, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I planned for this presentation. I did all the practices as I could, but I am very sorry to announce that I forgot everything I've planned to say. And the audience was like, wow, why? What happened? And the girl said, the fact that I forgot what to say does not mean that I have forgotten to make impact on the stage.
Wow.
That girl won the tournament. I mean, she won me with over 10 points. I came there with the whole 1976, but the girl just came there in simple terms, understanding the audience that she was meant to speak to. She made the impact, and then she left the stage. So my point is very simple. Try as much as possible to design your presentation from the opening to the closure to be relatable to the people that you intend to speak to. This is very important. Now, the next thing I would like to say is, as regards to what to do if you're losing your audience. I mean, the moment you start losing your audience, it simply means that you're saying something that do not resonate with the audience. You're saying something that the audience is not really playing alongside with again. So what are you supposed to do? You change the dynamics of the presentation. You switch to telling a story. You switch to making reference to what someone is putting on the stage. You switch to appreciating the people listening to you. You switch to making reference to the organizers of the event. You switch to, just use simple human dynamics. Leverage on simple human dynamics. As opposed to coming there very prepared. I'm coming to speak to this audience with MJ. I'm coming to speak with Mr. Bernard. I have practiced for 5 good hours. I have all my notes written down. I'm very serious. I'm on my tie. You frown your face. Today, public speaking is, I just want to make reference to what Nelson Mandela said, Barack Obama said. That is not, try as much as possible to be intelligent as it should be in tune with the people you're speaking to. How is MJ feeling? What is her expression of how I'm sounding? How is Mr. Bernard relating to what I'm saying? So be intelligent. There is what is called, they have their social intelligence. I call that social intelligence. It's not about emotional intelligence, but I have what is called social intelligence. And it simply has to do with how you read people's reactions, how you read people's cooperation with what you're saying, how you read with what people are doing in line with what you're doing. So social intelligence is very fundamental to making a solid communicator. Read people's reactions, read people's facial expressions, read how people are following what you're doing. And I'm very sure that you will progressively advance as you make a presentation. And the final thing I'm going to say is, if you're given 20 minutes to make a presentation, please do not exhaust that 20 minutes. You can speak for less than 20 minutes. You can speak for 10 minutes and use 2 to 3 minutes to summarize your ideas and walk away. I've come to realize that we live in a generation that the attention span is dying every day. People are losing interest for every single thing. 10 years ago, if Akintola made the post about mentorship, many persons wouldn't have challenged him. 20 years ago, if he made that post, nobody would have said anything. But we are in a generation called the Gen Z generation. They don't have patience for anybody. They don't care about anything. And they are influencing the generation. They are influencing everybody. They are influencing every single human being. So keep your ideas as simple, as short as possible, and ensure that as much as you want to keep your ideas simple and short, let your ideas be excellent. Don't be a town crier. Don't be a noisemaker. Say substantial things. Let your ideas be one that can actually inspire people to take reasonable actions. Don't just come there, I'm an influencer, have 20,000 followers, and then you start talking carelessly online. Put your ideas together, Be organized, be solid, and most importantly, lace your presentation with humility. It's very important.
Very,
So thank you so much for asking
thank you
questions. I
very, very
appreciate you.
much.
Over
You've
to you, man.
actually given a lot of critical points that anybody can benefit from. And then one of the points you made mention of is being time conscious. I like that point a lot because I keep on saying this to even my trainers because we have a lot of trainers at La Grande Galaxy. And then when we are training people, I tell them because I say you have 30 minutes to maybe make your presentation, doesn't mean you have to use the entire 30 minutes. Just use 20 minutes and then try to wrap up in five. Just be time conscious. It's very, very important. I value people's time a lot. That's why I try to tell them this is exactly how it's going to be and so and so. That's why when I say we're ending this session by 6:30, just watch and see. Even if it takes maybe just 1 extra minute, I'm sure I'll not be penalized, but we won't go beyond that because I'm very time conscious as well. So thank you very much for that point, Mr. Izu. Now, Joshua, we can see you. I believe you can see us as well. I know you can speak now, I believe.
Yes, I can speak now.
All right, so very good to hear from you. So something that Joshua kept on mentioning in his post a while ago is talking about how he's shy. So before you introduce yourself again to the people, I want you to tell us who you are and how shy your being shy has affected you, and then also how you were able to overcome that aspect to who you are today. So we'll just start from introduction and then on. Thank you very much.
All right, standing on the existing protocol. My name is Adu Joshua Opayemi, and thank you once again for the opportunity to be here again. Honestly speaking, I just enjoy speaking, but this is an opportunity again for me to speak. Now, coming back to your question, I do tell people that I'm a shy person, but people find it hard to believe. But when it comes to public speaking, my shyness has actually helped me in many ways. One, because of the kind of career I want to build. Being shy will not really help me to achieve that. So, because of purpose was the one that forced me to be able to face the crowd, even being shy as a person. Yes, I am shy, but that can't stop me from achieving my career or my goal, which is public speaking. Because one of the career I'm building, there's no way I'm going to achieve that career without speaking in the public.
Yes.
Yes, I'm a shy person, but because of the passion and the career achievement I want to do, I want to achieve, my shyness stayed at the back, while the purpose pushed my career to the side and overcome the fear of facing the crowd. How did I overcome this fear? Is by listening to people. For example, when I joined LinkedIn, that was last year, I've listened to so many speakers. One of them is Mr. Izu. I learned a lot from the way he presents himself. Throughout last year, I was studying him every single of his presentation in LinkedIn audio events because last year we had the opportunity to like host so much audio events. This is the first time I'm seeing Mr. Izo on live event, when I'm speaking. But last year I was studying the way he was speaking. I was studying the way he was controlling his anxiety. He used a lot of like funny ways to control his anxiety. I can tell you that there was a time we got an example of how pastors control their anxiety by saying, "Praise the Lord," and the audience say, "Hallelujah." It's a
Yeah.
method that all pastors use. See, nobody is perfect. We are all trying to be trying to achieve our goal. Being on the stage does not mean that you're not shy, does not mean that you're not nervous. As I said earlier, a pastor can use the method praise the Lord to regain his strength to remember what he or she wants to say. Following Mr. Idris for a very long time now, listening to the way he speak from a distance, I have also practiced those kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, that actually helping me to overcome my shyness in public speaking. Once again, my name is Adu Joshua Okpayemi.
All right, thank you very much for that, Adu Joshua. Because the truth of the matter, at the end of the day, just like we've mentioned, is that depends your where is your inner motivation coming from? Do you what is motivating you in life? Like Izu already mentioned, that he just wanted to be this particular kind of person. Also, Joshua has mentioned that as well. That the career he's trying to build just means he has to motivate himself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be invited to speak. Mr. Izu, I've listened to him a lot and audio events that we've attended. Yes, very powerful voice. And he also keeps on mentioning to people, powerful voice. So I want to hear from you now, Mr. Izu. How would you define a powerful voice? What is a powerful voice in public speaking? Yes.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Mr. Adu Joshua, for the. I felt like a baby when you were talking about all of those audio events. Truly, they were moments for all of us to collaborate, learn, and become better people. So back to your question, sir, Mr. Bernard, is powerful voice is a conscious voice. Powerful voice is a conscious voice. Is the voice that truly have understood that beyond the walls of insecurities, that my voice is my asset. So for me, Izu, I know that many people have their different advantages. There are people with beautiful smiles, contagious smiles. But for me, there is something that happens when you hear certain people's voices. They have commanding voices. And there are people with commanding voices, but they don't have commanding information. So when you have commanding information, commanding voice, it makes you an asset. But then there are people that have contagious smiles. But when they smile, you love them. But when they open their mouth to talk, you run away. You're not running away because they don't really look into something. You run away because the how beautiful and handsome they look does not match up with the substantial information that you were looking up for from these people. So what I'm saying is your insecurities should be managed. Managing your insecurities is what makes what you have as an advantage to make a meaning. So that is what I would say is a powerful voice. By default, there are people that have commanding military voices. They don't need to be a military officer. If they speak in a public, something happens. But then, beyond all of those things, I don't just want to limit this to a natural gift from God of having a powerful voice. I would like us to look them through the lens of intelligently evaluating your insecurities versus your advantages. Now, focusing more on your advantages would help you to be able to manage your insecurities. Every one of us here, we have our insecurities, we have our advantages. Now, a powerful voice is what happens when you pay attention to more of your advantages more than you pay attention to your insecurities. So that would be my definition of having or recognizing a powerful voice. I hope this helps, and thanks a lot for asking that
Yes, thank
question,
you
Mr.
very
Bernard.
much. That actually helps a lot. It actually helped a lot. So, and you've already mentioned something else that I would be throwing now to MJ. You already mentioned how you had some form of disaster on stage during your early days. So, I want to hear from you, MJ. Have you ever had any experience like a disaster on stage, maybe where you forgot what you're supposed to do, or your PowerPoint was not coming up, or something just happened and it felt like a disaster, and how you were able to maybe overcome or recover from that form of um, disaster? So I want to hear your story on that perspective.
Sorry,
Yes.
I was muted. I wouldn't say I've had a disaster per se, but sometimes maybe there's maybe grammatical errors. We all human. Sometimes the way we make grammatical errors. So what I do is correct myself immediately. Once I hear it, and then I smile and I continue.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. So MJ uses her smile to deceive the audience, to make them forget about the problems and the grammatical error. So to you, Joshua, now the question still goes to you now. I want to hear from you. Have you ever been on stage and maybe something happened that you feel maybe like was a disaster to you because you tend to overthink things sometimes, even if people don't notice it? Has it ever happened to you that maybe some form of disaster happened, maybe presentation wise or something of that nature? You forgot what you're going to say, like Mr. Izu mentioned that he forgot everything on stage. How were you able to recover from that, or maybe just tell us a story about something that has happened disaster wise in your own career?
For me, when it comes to public speaking or when it comes to presenting myself, I don't like cramming because if I cram, to be honest with you, if I'm to speak, I'm going to forget every single thing. So what I do is to prepare myself before coming to the event, but I don't cram. I just make it flow the way it is. But there are some occasion whereby sometimes I do forget something I want to say. What I do most times is that I go into joke. Once I start joking, I'm using those time to regain my strength to remember what I'm trying to say. It's not like these are what I learned from Mr. Izu actually. Maybe you don't know, but I learned it from a distance. Remember the day he said, Pastor do say hallelujah, sometimes just to like regain their spirit back. I've been trying this method and it has been working for me.
All right. Thank you
Well,
very much for that.
no, like, I'm not the only one with methods.
Oh yeah. So now, because we're here to talk about monetizing your voice and how to
Yeah.
make money using your voice, I'll throw this question first of all to Mr. Izu before I come to others. If somebody wants to call you to maybe public speaking stage, because people like, for instance, Vusi, Tempekwayo, and the rest, and even yourself as well, get invited to international stages and stages to get paid. How do you think somebody should start setting their rates, speaking rates, or negotiation fees? How do you start? How do you know what you're worth in the market to know what you should start charging people before you come on their stage to speak, like stages that actually call like that?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, Mr. Bernard. I would say that what I do is, and that this might also work for another person. I learned this from Les Brown, and I calculate the number of persons I pay in my team. So say I have 3 people I pay in my team. I calculate how much I pay them on maybe daily, a weekly basis or monthly basis. So I pay each of them, all of them, maybe I pay 100. And then I calculate the amount of data I use for my researches. I calculate the amount of food, what I need to consume on a monthly basis. So roughly, I calculate all the expenses I have as a person. Then I multiply them on a yearly basis. So for a yearly basis, on a yearly basis, my budget can just be about, say, roughly, just give and take 10K or thereabouts. Now, how do I make 10K on a yearly basis? I say I need 5 clients that will pay me 2K. I need 3 clients that will pay me, divide the 10K by 3. So when you divide how much, like the number of persons you need in order to make that amount of money, when you work with that number, that is how much you are expected to ask any client to pay you or less. Now, people like Les Brown, what they do is on a yearly basis, they say that their budget, what they want to make for this year is 240 US dollars. And then they ask themselves, how many clients do I need for the year to get to that amount of money? And then they say they need like 10 clients. And once they get the 10 clients, they travel to Germany or travel somewhere to Africa and start eating goat meat and pepper soup. And then they prepare for next year again. So you need to be able to now ask yourself, how much do you want to make on a yearly basis? Now, when you get to know how much you want to make on a yearly basis, you dissect it according to the number of persons that you know are able to bring that amount of money to your table. That is how to charge. Thank you so
Thank you
much, sir.
very much for that. And then, okay, so before we end the session, Joshua, I have one question I would like you to speak on because you're also very big on personal brand. I want to know, do you think how important do you think a personal brand is to a speaker to earn money or maybe to even charge how Izu and the rest also charge before they come on your stage? How important do you think, and ourselves as well, important the personal brand is to a speaker to achieve that? Is it important? Yes, that's the question I would like you to touch on.
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Well, for me, personal branding in this kind of generation is very important because most businesses now are moving from physical to digital, which is online. And for it to get clients away from your home, that is away from where you stay, people need to go online to read about you, to read about the review people are giving you. So building a personal brand in this generation is very important for people to access you easily, to read your review easily, to read the feedback people are giving you, I mean your past clients. Because to be honest with you, before people can come to you, they want to see some results. And it's not all the time you tend to present your results physically to them. So having a personal brand make it easy for people to access feedback from other people you've worked with in the past, and they'll message you in your DM or ask for your offer and just get you to do the job for them. So the easiest way to get clients from outside your country is by building a personal brand. Once you have a personal brand, you can easily build relationship. Remember, not all clients do know you. Some are being referred to relationship building. Another way to build relationship online is by being present online. That is by building a personal brand. In definition, personal branding is what works for you in your absence. That is, once you build a personal brand, it's not compulsory you must be online. As far as you build a personal brand, there are some feedback incoming clients can read to ask you to do their job. That is personal branding. Personal branding is building your presence online, and it's going to be working for you even when you are absent. I think I've answered your
Yes.
question.
Yes, you've answered your question perfectly. And then because of lack of time, I would have said go into this, but we are going to have another masterclass on personal branding. How do you build a personal brand? And of course, we're going to have amazing speakers. So before we end the session now, start from MJ, our final question, as we're ending this session. MJ would just go first, and then um, Joshua, and then I'll let Mr. Izu close the session for us before I say final goodbye to everybody. If you could just maybe leave us with one powerful takeaway to close this session now on how you think somebody can use their voice to create impact and also make money. One final takeaway. What would that be? Your mic is muted, MG.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very good question. My final takeaway would be start now. There's never going to be a better time. You just have to start learning to, to be a good public speaker, learn from those who have gone before you, just start learning now.
All right. Thank you very much. That is actually very critical. We've been mentioning it. No procrastination. Start now. Joshua, over to you. Your big takeaway for
Okay,
us.
my takeaway is that your story is more powerful than you think. a story can create an impact. Now, impact can generate income if you are if you know how to use this very well. That you position yourself very well, which is going to take me to building personal brand. Share your story, build a personal brand, and you'll be surprised on how your story can create impacts that will lead to income generation. Once again, my name is Adu Joshua Opayeme.
Thank you very much for that summary. That's very important. Personal branding, very important. So I'll be giving it to Mr. Izu now to just take us away. And as soon as he's done talking, I'll just give my final remark and then we end the session. Thank you very much, Mr. Izu. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard. It's been an honor being on this same stage with you and MJ and Mr. Adu Joshua. Thank you so much for the privilege and all the people that have been on the call listening to us ever since we started. It takes an audience for speakers to be considered a respectable people. So thanks a lot for honoring us with your presence. It means a lot to us and we don't take it for granted. What I'd like to say is this, and it's just going to be very as simple as we have been communicating here since we started. Please, I'm going to say in line with what MJ said, start now. But beyond starting now, I would encourage anyone who wants to take very seriously their public speaking skills to understand that your greatest asset is your voice. And I don't want to sound like a broken record or petty, but your voice is what people would remember the day you stop living in this world again, the day you leave this world. People are going to go online, people are going to go to do some research about.
Oh, network.
Oh, Mr. Izu has been cut off while he was speaking. But anyway, I'll be rounding off now. If Mr. Izu doesn't come off before I'm done with my final remark, this is 6:32. Give me 3 minutes to say this. I want to appreciate everybody that has stayed till the end of this session. You're very much appreciated. Please, one free way you can support us is by sharing this link. It's going to be on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and as well share to people so they watch and then drop your comments there. That helps us build our own personal brand and company brand. Maybe you've not seen it on my shirt yet, but I'm representing La Grande Galaxy, and La Grande Galaxy is the edtech platform that helps you in 4 major areas. We focus on public speaking, marketing, tech, and writing. So you're seeing Joshua here is going to be on our writing masterclass to talk more about writing as well, because it's good to be multi-talented. So if you're here and you've stayed till the end, I appreciate you very much, and you're going to receive more gifts from us. We have a lot in store for you. And Mr. Ezo has rounded it off already. Your voice is very powerful. MJ has said it. Start now. Joshua has also told you, build your personal brand. So when you put all of this together, you get your personal brand using your voice and telling your story. This helps you monetize your voice. This will definitely help you to become a better public speaker by listening to those who are ahead of you, and also by utilizing access. There are stages that pay, opportunities that pay, courses that pay, but the knowledge out there, make sure you utilize it. There are free ones, there are paid ones. If you want the free ones, YouTube is your university. Other platforms also where we have free sessions like this. This is on YouTube, obviously, so it is free to you. But if you want the paid ones, you want one-on-one mentoring and you want other things like that, you can meet. Like I mentioned, we're having a partnership with First Class Speakers, which is Mr. Izu Samuel. So in La Grande Galaxy, with First Class Speakers for writing class as well. We'll be having partnerships like La Grande Galaxy with J Writes to talk about writing and more other things coming on more. So with that being said, this is 6:34 p.m. West African time, and I'll be ending this session. Thank you very much, MJ, for joining this session. Thank you very much, Adu
Thank
Joshua,
you for
for
having
joining
me.
this session. And I also thank Mr. Izu Samuel and Dr. Vivian Magnus for being a part of this, and to the amazing crowd. You've been wonderful. Please keep sharing. People will come back to rewatch this, I believe, and we'll also drop it on the platform for those who have missed out. So good night from my own end. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.